Oh,
Okay, let's
hi.
see what goes on.
Hi.
Oh, there's Doran.
Hello,
There we
everybody.
go.
I see us. I see us. Hi.
Topic tubes. All right. How many
Hi.
people are here?
I see Cardamancy. Hi. I don't want to touch my phone and scroll up because I'll probably knock the whole screen over. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready. Hi, Lucienne.
Oh, Lucian's here. Hi, Jam, Dave. Try to miss it. All right, gotta close this down.
You make sure my volume's on too.
Hey, Holly.
Oh, is my Holly in there?
So I guess first I like. Hi, Lori. Rhonda. There's a little interesting story in the background here. Prior to you getting your into your dreams and whatnot, I think it was in December. You know, made the contacts with you and Virgil and others, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool? Or I want to experience too.
Yeah.
I want to make this connection.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, you told me you asked for it also.
Yes.
And what did you say to the universe?
I just asked them to pick you up. Come take
Pick me
you
up.
for a ride. Come get you.
So, yeah, I told my inner crew of Virgil, you, Debbie, about my experience. Well, that was Virgil. Virgil may join us if he has something to say and can contribute to best experiences of dreams and whatnot.
I appreciate all the input.
But anyway, in December, I asked also, and unknowingly, I did not know you asked for this also.
Yeah.
But I asked the universe and any extraterrestrials out there that may want to connect with me that basically show me.
Right.
Can I be accepted in this realm? Have an experience or move forward, however it may be.
Yeah.
And I don't have my notes. Wait a minute, what day was that? I might have wrote that down. It was a Thursday. I don't remember wrote it down or not. Oh, that's in a different notebook. But anyway, it was a Thursday. Oh gosh, was it a month ago? 3 weeks ago? Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was about that.
So my experience was, I woke up like I usually do in the middle of the night, and it was like 3:13, and I had to take a leak. Usually, I have to wake up and pee. So I did. I went back to sleep, and then I woke up again at 3:13. Went and peed, and as soon as I got up, I'm like, wait a minute, something happened at 1 o'clock in the morning, kind of thing, right? Yep. So I went and did my duty, and I came back in, and I'm like, something's different. I was just kind of weirded out.
Yeah.
And then there was this whole bunch of light, kind of like the moon was right behind our windows.
Yes. Yeah.
And through every crease of our shades and whatnot, there was this bright light. So I probably looked out the wrong window. But I looked out one of the windows and I'm like, okay, it's kind of bright out here. And it's almost like there was something outside, right? But I knew something happened. And I repeated 2 hours of my life. And I went somewhere. And I know I went somewhere.
Yes, they gotcha.
I did. And it was interesting. And the whole day, and what brings more clarity or proof, anytime, and then I started seeing a different figure in the back of my mind, like someone's joined me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting a Palladian energy. He looks like a king, and he's got this white bluish skin, and like a robe and whatnot.
Right.
And there was this energy around me at that morning. And I was exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went on a 5-10 mile run the whole day, the whole morning. And it kind of left me about 10 o'clock. So I went to work, I did my thing, and I got in my truck. And anytime spirit energy is around me, the work truck has these refrigerator units to keep the meat cold, the deliveries. And if there's an issue with the unit, it'll trip. It'll throw out a code and you have to reset it.
Okay.
The first hour, it tripped 6 times.
Ooh.
There was some serious energy around me.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
Unless there's energy around me.
Right. Unless
and also that morning, too, my cell phone would not charge. It would just drain instead of charging, on the truck unit, and plug it in, So by the time that first hour was, it was like down to 30%. It just went down instead of charging. So I knew there was energy around me. I knew something happened to me.
Uh-huh.
And then, so I checked with Andrea. She gave me a little mini read.
She's wonderful.
I'm like curious, I feel these things. I'm like, what's going on? And she's very good as far as figuring stuff out. And she got it immediately. She's like, you went away. You went to another dimension or something. And she's seen it in her cards and her senses that I was worked on some way.
Tinkering
Or something, or checking me out, whatever it was. But it's just so weird. I mean, it's all blank, but I woke up immediately knowing something about 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I know I repeated 2 hours of my life. It was really strange.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how it starts.
But I asked for it. And the strange thing is, too, after I talked to you about it, you're like, I asked for it, too, and I just didn't tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought, see, let's see what happens. It can't hurt. And you seem to be open to it, but I didn't know if you actually wanted to go or not. If you were open to it, that was kind of the way to put it. You never want to force your will on somebody. I think you're open. You're open to it, and you're ready to go.
I mean, we have our senses. I can see them.
Yes.
I know they're here.
Mm-hmm.
But, I've never seen one. I've never seen a UFO, no lights in the sky, So it's like, we have our senses. We have our abilities to know what's there and what's not there. But it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Give me proof, If it's out there, show me,
Well, and then they give you proof that you can't prove,
Right. I know, right?
So you've got all of this, like, but you don't know.
Right.
You just have
to sit back and like, am I crazy?
You have to,
and that's why we need others in this whole journey that we connect to figure it all out.
Yeah, because otherwise,
collaboration is not a bad thing.
No, it's never a bad thing.
Right, like Virgil says here, it's a strange feeling. Something happened, but you don't know something happened.
Yeah, like but there's no.
Right.
Unless you put a GoPro on your head when you go to sleep, you're never.
GoPro. Oh, I think I mentioned before, but I had a reading with someone else, and she asked me what happened to like 4 hours of her life when she was driving.
Yeah.
You went away. You got a download or something, and it's like she says I was driving, and it was like right near Area 51 area, and it's like she woke up at her destination, and I'm like, I don't know where 4 hours went.
Yeah. I see Lori asked a question here. Lori Sue, when one seriously suspects that they are present, as if it touches your core, what's next? I honestly have no idea. Like, I am not in control of this ride.
Right.
They come and take me as they will, or they don't. It's one of those things that when I think that I'm really alone and that they have not been here for me in a while, or come for me or made contact, I can go outside and almost any time of night see something moving in the sky. And I know that most people can. You know, we got satellites and planes and
Right.
everything else, but it's usually pretty specific, and it's like weird stuff. It's always weird stuff. It's not, and I'm always usually alone, of course.
Yeah.
I see them. So yeah,
Wait,
I have no idea.
was
This is,
that, I forgot, was that in a dream when you seen that, what was it? What did you call that? Like a Pegasus or this big winged creature? Did you
no,
call it?
I was awake. I
You were
was
like,
awake for that. There were two of them. There were two giant ass birds that took over a 5-acre field in the sky. And I
right.
saw them coming. Yes, Christina, I do. I absolutely like to go. I do like to go with it. Christina asked a question. I do like to go. I have no problem going. I made peace with it a long time ago. I accept them, and the more that I accept and the more accepting I am, the more I get to remember. And if I get an attitude, I don't get to remember. But yes, Scott, that was two giant, huge birds. One looked like a bald eagle, and one had red and black feathers. But their size was so, like, the only thing I could find was thunderbirds that sounded
Oh, yeah,
like that.
that's what we call them. Kind of like Thunderbirds.
Yeah, yeah. They took
When you
up an
talk
entire
about,
5 acres, like the whole field.
oh, it's crazy. I mean, like when you talk about it, I'll
Mm-hmm.
get that visual and I'll see them, kind of too. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, it was terrible. I ran inside. I was like, no, things are gonna get me. But one seemed to be chasing the other. The red one was chasing the black, or the bald eagle looking one. Both of them massive sized. Marie
Yeah.
asked if those are harpies. I don't know. I think they were a relic of another time, something I was seeing from another time. That's what I think. You know, sometimes in this place where it happened, I see things there. And it's a different kind of place. I don't know. I can't see if Holly's here, but she knows what I'm talking about too. She's been there. She used to work in the same place I did. It's a whole other universe. The energy is very, very different. So, yeah.
Virgil, you see Virgil's question?
Huge bird. No, I did not. No, they did not. I didn't see any armor on them. Hi, Holly. I love you. This is my
Hey,
best
Holly.
friend. She's my soulmate, I swear. Starlight in a bottle or body. Uh, I didn't see any armor or anything like that. It was just these big, huge birds. Lori's asking, can you explain at all the most early uncomfortable encounters as compared to your recent, and why you might explain the difference? So the first ones, I'm bouncing around here. Tell me if I need to stop.
No, go ahead.
Yes, and what Holly says, that place feels like a time warp. But Lori, the first ones that I used to go with were large and hulking and scary, and they did not care if I was afraid. They would stand around my bed, and I was frozen. I couldn't move. I would wake up with marks and bruises on my body. It was absolutely terrifying. And, you know, so at one point or another, it stopped, and then I started having kids, and now the ones I go with are not scary. I mean, the experience itself is pretty intimidating, but it's not fearful. And overall, they can dampen your emotions. They can put a damper on it. If you get upset, they can just like, you feel better now. And you feel better. You're just not going to get upset. You're not going to get panicked. At least that's my experience. The last time I got an attitude, though, they sent me And I was just tired of, there were things happening in real life that I was dealing with. And I was just tired of feeling like I was being given pieces of a puzzle and riddles to figure out. But I understand that that is their way of working on you. You know, they put you in front of a screen or show you symbols or make you do weird little tasks. And that's, yeah, that's the difference right there. One group is absolutely terrifying. That was my first group. And the other group was completely different, is completely different. They're fully different and not terrifying, not scary.
Yeah, that's what it felt like when we first talked about it. You know, it's like someone else came in and say, we're not going this route.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
I remember their skin was, it was so and ripply and looked digital almost, because it was so kind of just smeary. I don't even know how else. It was reptilian, and they were so big and just hulking and horrible. So no more of them guys, thank God.
Thank God, right?
All of them. I'm very thankful that I don't have to deal with that anymore. I had no protection. I was not safe. I was, you know, even in my own house, my mom said I was, well, because it only happened at my mother's house, never happened at my dad's house. And there was no protection of any sort at my mom's house, whether it was spiritual or otherwise. And at my dad's, there very much was. He was very, you know, he was just very psychic-y, spiritual, and things just didn't go there from the sky anyway.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole weird experience when you're scared of it.
Yes, Holly, Pat protected me. Absolutely. We called him Pat.
Oh, Papa, yeah.
Yeah, he was happy. Just a crazy old.
What were we talking about the other day? And it was about something about rabbits. What did you say about a rabbit hole?
Oh, follow the white rabbit. You follow that white rabbit. I follow
that rabbit. And then your dad came in, and immediately I was getting that Alice in Wonderland, you know, going down a rabbit hole, you know, going down in different experiences. And then you said, what, your dad loved that movie?
Loved it. Loved the book, loved the movie. And he always said, follow the white rabbit. You know, if there's something you can follow into, you know, be curious, go follow it, go down that rabbit hole, learn.
That was crazy.
Let's see, what does Lori say here? I think the emotions, not to the first ones, they didn't care about anything. The ones I go with now, at least they seem to care if I'm upset. They will make that feeling go away so that I'm not afraid. Like, you know, I was in a cubicle with a girl who turned her face into something with horns just so that she could show me that they're here on Earth, shapeshifters. And I did not feel a drop of fear. It was just like, oh, she's got horns on her face. Oh, okay. We're floating. That's all right. It's okay. You know, and that was back when, you know, I was still wearing the white, like a gown, it's almost like a hospital gown. And, you know, now when I go, I get to keep my own clothes. Hi, Debbie. And that's sort of how it goes now. It's just, you know, they prefer compliance, I think. And it sounds kind of shitty, but, you know, it's for the greater good, I believe. They're doing it to sort of help humanity. That is what I've been shown. You know, they got to do these things so that we can move forward and stop hurting each other. And the ones here now, so many of us, I think, are here to help and not harm, you know. Like when I talk about Holly, she's one of those people. I think totally one day you would love to interview her. She's a complete, you can put her in the darkest room and she will light it up. There's souls, spirits. We have the same dreams. So,
yeah, we were chatting about Holly. I can definitely tell she's a beam of light from not this planet kind of thing.
Someone from somewhere else, and her kindness and love for humanity and every other creature, even the crappy creatures, beyond. She's just gonna love them. She's gonna love them, and just do it. And that can't hurt the world. You know, we need more of that.
Yeah.
How did I meet? Christina asked, how did I meet Holly? So we lived in the same town, the town I'm in now, and she grew up here. And our kids played football together, and this was in 2011. And I saw her, and that was it. We just became like right then. It was just right then and there. There was not a hesitation in my mind that she was just starlight. And I wasn't even as nuts as I am now. I knew there was something about her that was different. And I have learned so much just from having her as a friend. It's been a miracle. She's like a crystal ball.
That is sweet.
Yeah. So what does Lori say here? Seems they are much more interested in many other things, not of emotions, but rather the future of the planet's health and well-being. Yes.
Yep.
Totally. Oh, Ninja. She's so sweet. But yeah, we are residents here. This planet is an entire life force by itself out, and if we can be good residents of this planet, then I think that their work would be a lot easier. But here we are just acting a fool all the time and spreading hate and discontent as far and wide as it can go. Mm-hmm. And that is not what they like. They don't want that. Oh, I'm looking at the chat. Holly says intimidating. I'm thinking, no, you're like a beam of light. I'm not intimidating. You are. Yeah. So.
Yeah, up above, because Mom asked, are they studying the human race and what are they doing about it?
I don't know if they're studying it. I think they know us. They've been here a long time, and they need us to shape up. And so they start their tinkering when we do this. But I don't know how many times it's happened in history. I don't know how many times, we've been through this. I don't know how many times we've destroyed ourselves. And do they just keep coming back to help? Is that what they're doing? Or, are we ever going to get on an upswing and get out of this rut of humanity that humanity is in, and you got to do it the hardest way possible, which is by loving each other when it's hard to love the unlovable, these hateful people out there. Hi, Susan.
Yeah, I think it's all about the evolvement of the human species.
Yes. Yeah.
To get to more people opening up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One person gets to the next person, what next person gets to the next person, and eventually.
It's like that. My one of my visitors that I had, and it's on that broken freeway that I'm always on in my dreams, and she was the legless, she had no legs, and she looked Hindu, and she showed me the spider web, a web in the sky, and she said, we're all alone. Every one of us is on our own journey, and what is important is where those little things meet up, those little lines meet up. And if every time you make a move, every time you do a thing, it ripples through that entire web. And that goes on forever and ever. So every time you love, you are sending that into forever. Every time you hate, you're sending that into forever. You've got to, you have to sort of really walk I don't know, you have to love. You have to love. That's what you have to do. And then, you got to find your paradise that way. And that was literally what she told me.
Susan, aliens got rid of Trump. That's funny.
Virgil says, something tells me it's us coming to the past and present, like Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day, for sure. That makes sense.
You bet, Sheila. The Seth Materials and Jane Roberts was very good.
Christina Casey, yes. Definitely.
Yeah, all those seers of past lives have, tapped into a few things here and there that still stand true. Some some things I'm like, I think they might be wrong, but
Yeah.
when you're predicting 500 years in the future, there's going to be a few ripples in that.
Yeah. I mean, there's that free will thing.
Yeah.
People can act up whenever they feel like they want to.
Right.
Bye, Denise. Let's see. Oh, Mary, that's very sweet. People are just so nice. They're just so nice here.
Well, that's what we hope for, right?
Oh, very. Especially when you get out there and just spill your nuts all over YouTube. Here, have some coffee.
We're hoping to find understanding and maybe some of the seeing experience that you can find that understanding.
Yes, yes. That
So
and that is what is
before is we were talking about a matrix or
a maze.
A maze you were dreaming about.
For years, yeah. So let me get I'm shaking my whole setup here. Let me get a drink of water before I launch into this situation. So the maze began. I fell into it after my dad died in 2004. It's a place, I believe it. Hi, Courtney. I love you too. She's my best friend. She's in North Carolina, and she is. Oh my God, I love her.
Cool.
Christina, no, I don't. Yes, Courtney. Courtney's been listening, and Holly have been hearing about the maze for years. Courtney's heard about it for about 15. So it started after my dad died. I had started having these dreams, and my auntie had told me that if I asked to see, well, I'm gonna, just ask, open up, and I'm looking at the chat, and open up, and they are gonna find you, and you are gonna hear things because that's your soul. And my aunt was on she had one foot in this world and the other foot in the other one, and she said, just open up, you'll see, your dad will come right to you. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I need. So I did, and it was awful. I started seeing things. I started following footsteps in my apartment. My dogs were barking at air all the time, and my dreams got absolutely terrifying. And that was when I had the one with the boy, and this was the catalyst. And this sort of led me to what I just walled up. I shut everything off. There was nothing. In my dream, I had been, and I was very awake in the dream, and which was kind of new to me, but I was very awake, and I saw my kids, and I saw other kids that I didn't know, but turned out to be my sister's kids. And they just hadn't been born yet. I'm in the yard, and I see a boy coming for us, and he's just walking, and he had a suit. Like, he looked about 10, 11, and he had a suit on, like a 3-piece suit. So whatever, okay. But I knew it was like watching a power line, like a lightning bolt walking right for me. And in this dream, I shooed all these kids in the house, and I went walking for the boy, and I'm like, you go. I knew he had something to say, and I did not want to hear it. I didn't know anything about this boy. I've never seen him before, ever. So I get close to him, and I'm like, you need to go. You've got to go. And so what he did was seize my arm like this, and his eyes went completely black, like a horror movie, but he was not bad. I'll throw that out there. He wasn't bad. It was just power. It was like power trying to take on a body that I could understand. And the first thing was, he told me, your soul is preparing. And then I'm struggling. I'm trying to get away. And then he says, there will be a surgery. This person cannot breathe. A person will lose their eyes. And, there's a couple other things. I'm like, oh God. And so I start calling on everybody I can think of. We're talking the pantheon of gods to save me. Come help. Come get me. Come get me. I need help right now. And I woke up. Well, I immediately get on the email, and I email one of my aunts about my other aunt who was going blind at the time. And she said, you need to call me. Well, turned out my cousin, who's only 4 months older than me, was in the hospital. And the next day he had a pacemaker installed in his chest. He couldn't breathe because he had muscular dystrophy and it was shutting down his chest muscles. And it was a few weeks, a month later, where he called me and he's like, he sent me an email. He's like, you need to get a hold of me and talk to you about this dream you had, because I didn't even tell my mom that the doctor said I'm going to go blind. And that was the last real thing that I remember the voice saying was, this person will lose their eyes. They will lose their eyes. And he phrased it that way, it was old fashioned-y, like I told you. It was almost like he was talking from another place. Like, they will lose their eyes. How dramatic is that?
Right.
And so it was immediately after that I started, nope, I'm not having it. And I started putting up walls. And this is, you and I had started vaguely sort of skirting this subject because I wasn't sure I wanted to talk about it, because God, it's out there.
Right.
But Debbie had said something, Freebird, on her channel, where she said that empaths, when, sometimes empaths, they have to put up walls. And if you don't, people just come and go and come and go. And that made me think, that maze that I told you about, when I left it, I was running away from a wall. And so that sort of, to me, was like a sign, like, you've got to say something. See if you can get some outside opinions on this, since I'm not in it anymore. But it's still a very real thing, and I believe it's in a dimension of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. So it was your no. Yeah, very true, Virgil. Oh, that's true, Virgil. The maze was a place that I was stuck for years, and everywhere the first time it happened, and when I went into it, I remember going into it. I was in a dream. I was on a beach with my family, and behind me, off to the right, an empty, shelled out warehouse appeared. That's how it started. Like rusted old beams, just going up. It was like an empty square with cement. And I'm like, yeah, ooh, I'm gonna go see what that is, because curious critter. There I go. And I did. And something told me, don't. So yes, I'm gonna. And I went in there, and immediately everything else outside disappeared. I saw the others that were in there from different times. A woman that stands out very clear is a woman with a parasol, bustle dress. She had the bustle in the back, and she was walking with a gentleman, and they were walking around like they were seeing beautiful things, or not. I don't know, but they were not paying attention to their surroundings. And that's how everybody was. Everybody in there was just in their own world. And it was immediately that I was in my own world too. And I was stuck, completely trapped every night. Well, every night that I dreamed, I would go in one. It didn't matter if I went left or if I went right. Didn't matter what the scene looked like. I always ended up in the same place. And it was always the same lefts, the same rights, the same things. And it wasn't until, my dad was coming in my dreams, and he was trying to help me, and he was my white rabbit. So
Right.
He was one of my white rabbits. I had to follow him. He gave me something I wanted, which was to see him. He was gone. I couldn't see him. And so I needed to see him. So if I would just follow that was sort of what led me to this one part of a dream that I had a couple years into this. And I was like, it was in a boat, and we were stuck in some reeds, and my dad's across from me. I'm like, Pap, every time I go this way, I get stuck. He's like, well, Bethers, don't go that way. It was easy peasy, simple. And that changed it. And I started going different directions. And I ended up in a whole other, what I call, section of the maze, which was sort of leading me out. Courtney. Yes, Courtney. And, I was told, you stay off dirt roads. I was told you stay on the paved roads. And it's like all these little things. And the further out I got, I would see people. I told you about the man that stands out. He was in a trailer, like a mobile home, and he was sort of up on a hill. And a common theme among all these people that I would run into in there is they were always digging, searching, clawing at something, moving things around. They're always looking for something. And I'm like, come with me. What are you doing? Let's go. You're real. I'm real. Let's get on the paved road. He's like, I can't. I gotta find my mom. I gotta find my mother. And I could hear her yelling, but I knew she wasn't there. And he was, oh, thank you, Holly. She was calling him, and he was hearing her, but she wasn't there. He was as stuck as I was, but he was not moving. He wasn't going anywhere. So I leave this man's hill and his trailer and his figment of a mother, and another thing, yellow bike. I had a yellow bike, a yellow 10-speed, and I'm not the only one in there who has a yellow 10-speed. I know that I don't have a yellow 10-speed anymore. Someone else picked it up. I watched him do it. And I'm like, you don't want that bike. That means you're going to be stuck. And he took the bike and rode off. That was how that happened, was he took my 10-speed and I didn't have it anymore. And I was climbing up hills. And now, one thing you said was that it's like quicksand, and that's exactly what it feels like. You can't get out. There's no out. It took an extraction, is how I feel.
Right. You need help.
I needed help. I needed help. I knew that I was trapped. Like, I would wake up and I knew that I'm stuck somewhere in my soul is stuck somewhere. When I'm not awake, something's eating me alive. And that was how it felt. Like I was being consumed slowly, and my everything hurt all the time. My neck, my wrists, weirdly always in pain. And so, long story, even longer. Make it out to in this dream, and this is a years and like, so 2004 till 2011. I make it in my dream, to my dad's house, which has been this entire journey. I make it to his house where he lived when he was alive. And it was out in the middle of nowhere, just out in the middle of the sticks. He was living in the middle of nowhere. And I know that I am not to go on the dirt roads. Well, it's all dirt roads. So I had to climb, start, over, different days. I'm climbing and I'm hiding, and there's machinery everywhere around my dad's house. And I finally get inside, and I'm like, oh, I'm here. I just got to wait. And so then I'm there and I'm just waiting. And then one night, the wait stopped and a woman appeared, and she looked like yes, Courtney, yes. She looked like just a normal person, someone familiar to me, but it wasn't super huge. But her urgency was, you have to come now. Let's go. We got to run. It was run. And I cannot stress the run. And I do not run ever. I'm not a runner. If I'm running, something's chasing me. I'll fight you before I run from you. I'm going to have better luck that way. But I'm like, okay, this, that white rabbit, the curious critter, I am going to follow you. So I do. And we are running, and it's weird. It was different cityscapes. It was different desert scenes. It was just like moving from scene to scene to scene, almost like we were running through different people's minds, if that, like, changing a channel. And so I'm running with her, and still gives me chills. I see her, she's going up these sand dunes, and I look back, and there is a wall going up to the sky. It's clear up to the sky, and we got out through like a crack. And she's, run. It's a big fat, don't look back, you go. And so I'm watching this tall grass on these sand dunes are going past my legs, and I'm pumping up these sand dunes. She goes over and disappears, and I get to the top, and in front of me is paths, all these different paths, all of them lit up with this white, blue, beautiful light. She calls it the hope light. And she um, I'm just looking at these paths, and there's a dome in the middle of it, a big lit dome, and I can't see through it, but I can see the shadows moving inside, and there it's like heaven. It is paradise. It all rose because I know it's only, and here she comes, as she just rises up and she holds her hand out to me, and it is this woman, and it's so crazy. She's got fire. There's fire, and I can see it in her chest, and there's a line that goes down, and it's pink, and I think it's crystal. I'm not sure. I know she's got a light in her hands, and she held her hand out to me, and I took it, and everything since that day has been different. Every single thing in my life changed that day. Everything. In the morning I woke up and my arms and wrists didn't hurt, my neck didn't hurt, but my legs did, like I'd been climbing a mountain all night. And like she came for me. And I have since come to understand that I would think of her as some sort of a, I don't even know, like a god or a super being, but that's my very human mind. She put my hand right there on her chest one time, and she said, "No, I'm not. I'm a soul just like you. Just, I'm just doing my work, And I felt her heart beating inside of her very weird looking chest that has some kind of fire running through it and some sort of pink light that goes up and down it. And she's got scars. She's got scars on her face. I don't know. I don't know what she is. I have no idea. But I started writing about her, and I consider her one of the most important beings in my entire universe at this point.
That was like 10 years ago?
That was in 2011. Yeah, Christina,
Right.
yeah, she was a thing. She was a terrifying, powerful thing that came to get me, extracted me from that terrible place. And yes, Virgil. Yeah. Yeah, I meditate, and I hear from that being all the time. It's not something I talk about really outside of my very, very closest friends, just because I know exactly how it sounds. I just know exactly how it sounds. But at some point, you have to start believing in yourself and accepting that, yeah, you can't prove this, but it is real as can be for me. And I don't know that if that is like the definition of crazy at this point, just like believe in your own delusion. But I know what happened, and I know what I feel, and I know what I see, and these things happened. So, yeah, and see, the maze that I talked about, I'm looking at my notes here. Since I've been out of it, I can still every now and then am at my dad's house, and it overlooks what I call the maze. And it is the weirdest thing that my dad's house would overlook this place. I don't understand it, except that maybe it just is what it is. Inside, it's overlooking it. It's like a soupy, muddy, ugh. And then there's like bulldozers. It's like a constant construction site. It's always being added to and changed, but it's always the same. Starlight, yes, that's true. Roxanne, yes. I know there's something bad in there, and one night I seen my dad, and he's just looking out of the window. And when I say these things, they're of course in dreams, but they're very real. And I walk over to him, and he's looking out the window, and he's just kind of doing this, and I'm like, well, are the rats still in there, Pap? And I've never seen a rat in the maze, but I know exactly what I was talking about. That bad parasite thing that lives in there. And he's, yes, yeah, Beth, and they're bigger than ever. And I was like, oh, that means something. I'm supposed to pay attention to that. To me, I feel like it's collecting more. It's trying to get more people, more souls trapped. It's hungry. It's a dimension of some sort. I have seen it. The sky over it, it's not always that I see it, but it's like fractures in the sky and I'm seeing different skies in the sky. different times, different places, different dimensions. That this maze can pull souls and beings in from different dimensions, and it's very fractured up above it. It's a soupy mess, and it's awful, and I don't know what it is. And part of why I wanted to get on here and talk about it, after we started talking about it, was because I know I'm not the only one who was in there. I know Holly's seen it. I know I had another friend who's talked about it, and we talked about this, the being we think runs it. I always called him the collector. When he's hungry, he's collecting. When he's not, he's conducting. He's the collector or the conductor. And sometimes he looks like an old-timey like 1800s barber. I saw him not long ago. He was a redhead this time, and he was trying to lure me with shiny trinkets, genie bottles, because I'd love to talk to a genie. But they were transparent, and I'm just like, no. And then he sort of popped out of a vortex over here, and I told him, no, I don't want what you have. I know what you've got. You need to go. And he got very angry. And it's Holly's saying he shows himself as people too. And that is absolutely true. She has seen him, and yes, Christina, he's terrifying. Holly's seen him. He tried to lure her, and that's for her to share, not, because it involves her family. I was going to go with trinkets. he's like, genie bottles, take a look. But I didn't follow, and they were all transparent. That was sort of and he was like, and I heard him say, I'm going to get one of them to come with me. And he was growling it, and he was angry, and he had red hair this time. I've always seen him with dark hair. The time before this that I saw him, it was in a dream, and my dad came, and my sister was about to get on an elevator, and I was in the elevator, like he's telling me, don't let her get on there. And I'm like, okay, well, I will stop her. And so I see my sister, and we're like, no, you can't get on that elevator. And she had a dream that night that she was about to get on an elevator, and there was an old-timey 1800s gentleman-looking fella playing one of those weird tinny sounding pianos next to the elevator. And that's what he looked like to me at the time, like with the barber, like the red, white barber pole sort of thing. That was how he first presented himself to me. Now I will not tolerate that image whatsoever. So I reckon he's just changed his game.
Right.
I believe he's a being. Sometimes I saw him one time, and his mouth was like, it really just sounds like I've been watching too many horror shows, but it was like, it could get bigger. There were big sharp teeth in there, like back here.
Yeah, it would project however it wanted to project.
Yeah, totally. Completely.
Scary or beautiful.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, in the 1800s looking guy, he's not an unattractive gentleman. He's just, very. It's the ooze that comes off of him is terrifying. It's black and awful and sick and green and terrible. It's like an infection. There we go. It's like an infection. It's like something that needs some serious penicillin. He's just gross. And yeah, so I know he's out there. I know he's out there still looking for people, and been visiting my dreams for whatever reason here lately. And just want to know if there's anybody.
It's kind of horrifying, because when you started talking to me about it, I told you that immediate flash I got from the movie The Conjuring.
Yes. Yeah.
With that creepy guy taking souls.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then I was getting the flash, you're talking about other people. When you're being there, they want you to help.
Mm-hmm.
And, you were talking about people, and all of a sudden I'm like, you got a herd of people behind you.
Mm-hmm. You did.
I've seen there's like 20 people when you go in this realm, like waiting, like, help me.
Yeah.
And then there's like hundreds more behind them.
Wow.
There's a ton of souls that want your help when you go and see this. But your firewoman or whoever this is, And well, I was kind of feeling that it was a manifestation growth from that little boy.
Oh.
So you met this little boy, right? But now it's manifested later on to your
Her.
Medusa type woman with the
snakes, yeah. And
crystals.
that's her. I didn't say that. I didn't tell that part because I don't want to sound too nuts, but yeah, she does have snakes in her hair, and there's tied up neat and tidy like Medusa.
Right. It was like you're explaining it, and then I get that visual of like, why am I seeing Medusa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like the kind of whole story, but it's she's a creator. She had powers. She was beautiful and came into Medusa, but there's this goes beyond our extraterrestrial friends. This is something a different realm.
Yeah, this is
that you're involved in.
It's like a dimension. I feel because I don't know, because I'm just doing it here, not knowing. I feel like it's a dimensional thing. It's interdimensional. I know I have been, because I've gone to some of these different fractures that are in the sky. I've seen some of these places are very, very, very futuristic. Some of them are not. Some of them are just very normal. Some of them are deserts. There's one particular place that I end up getting on like an airplane, but it is not a plane. I guess it'd be like a super plane of some sort. And it's for quick travel, but it's not planetary. That I believe it's not planetary. And it's like I'm just watching these things happen, and I can see, and it's not always the same dimensions. Sometimes they're bigger and sometimes they're smaller. Sometimes they're skinnier and sharper, but they all sort of funnel down to this, where this thing can reach up and pull what it wants out of it. Holly says, I can call in fractors to extract me if I climb high enough into the maze. And she knows, she's been there, she's seen the fractures. That's how, that's another reason I know that it's not just me. She describes things that I dream about. It's very strange. Beth, can you change locations at any time when you are in it? Usually I can. It takes, I have to focus and remember that I'm not where I think I am. And I need to, if I want to get back to where I want to be, I got to focus on it. And then it's really like moving from one curtain to another. And that's sort of how I change locations. But sometimes when I feel stuck, I end up with guides that show up and yank me out. And that's not just always the fracture parts. Sometimes that's just a regular crappy dream and it's just too much. Or there are places outside of the maze that I know about. We haven't talked about the mechanics yet. So a couple years ago, I found myself wandering in my dream, and I saw that wall. And this time my wall was crumbled up and very covered over with ivy. And so I'm like, ooh, let's go check that. I am just a glutton for punishment. I want to see and know. I'm going to go touch that hot stove every time. So I go over and I start picking through the ivy, and I find just like a little crack because I'm trying to see in. And out of nowhere over here, there is a mechanic shop shows up. There are 3 men, and there were 2 doors, like 2 garage doors, and just like a normal looking mechanic shop, sort of older looking. And one walks towards me, and he's got a really big wrench, and he's not a small fella, and there's 2 with him, and they're back there, and they're all pretty good sized guys. And he's wearing the coveralls. He's got a name tag that has no name on it. It's just white. And he tells me I am not to go in there anymore. That place isn't for me. They are there. They are placed at different entrances to make sure that I don't get in again. I am not to go there. That place is not for me. He was incredibly, incredibly firm on that. Like, it is guarded. They are watching it. Hi, Debbie. Debbie's here. They're watching it so that I'm not allowed in. And I suppose that if I really wanted to, I could go right back, but I don't want to. And when I see the collector showing up in my dreams, I know that I am not to go near that. Like, I ignore that. There are a lot of things in this world that I can pick up and play with, but I choose not to, and I am not supposed to do that kind of a thing. I'm not supposed to mess with certain energies because I feel like I have before in different times, different lives, different eras, different eons, whatever. I feel like I have gone dark side and I'm never supposed to do that again. I am not supposed to go into the maze again. I'm supposed to stay on the side of the light and avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, they're asking me if you're safe. And that's your dad, Pappy, and this other lady.
Yes, I think they are.
They're keeping you safe.
Yeah, and not only them. I mean, I feel like I've got a herd. There's a herd of protection around me, Courtney. I do. They keep me safe. They watch over me. I feel like sometimes I've got 1,000 hands on my back. I can feel them. And the more that I'm open to it, the louder it gets. I can stop in the middle of my day and just feel all of them. And it's amazing. And it's not something I was ever able to do before until I started to really acknowledge what was going on. You got to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And get out of those mazes. I started talking.
This has been your journey, and that you have, I mean, like myself, I don't remember dreams. I keep trying and asking.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare,
Yeah.
But your experience and your journey is a lot greater going on, and a lot to take in too. Your personality and your acceptance is awesome, which helps a lot.
What Courtney
and your dad's been huge for you too.
Courtney, my dad called himself the Bagwan. He's
Bagwan?
The Bagwan. He called it. He had it when we moved to this house that he had. He got to choose the name of his road. He called it Bagwan Boulevard. And the Bagwan's always watching us, and it's true. He was the original spaceman. That's what I always called him. And the protection I have is immense, but I still have free will. So like the minute that I decide that I want to, and so I can't think of any of those, I can't be thinking, hey, that looks, like immature thoughts like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that, without thinking about the greater. I don't know. I feel like my soul had to learn that in this life, that I had to learn to settle down and work on good things and being a decent human and a decent soul. I mean, I don't know what my last few lives looked like, but I don't know. I feel like there was some more. I know I was in the revolution at one point. Yeah, there's been some stuff there, and I feel like I'm just supposed to help for this one. And I don't know who I'm supposed to help or where they're coming from, but here I am trying to be helpful. There was so I started talking about what's outside of the maze now, and this is just because someone else might know what I'm talking about. They may have seen this because I'm not the only one. Like I said, what's outside of it. There is a motel. It's like a roadside motel. That's what we're talking about here. It's usually got no doors on it, and it's on a hill overlooking this very gray sea. I don't even call it an ocean. I know it's like an ocean, but it's gray, and the sky is gray, and it's this weird, like, textury, marbly, different levels of gray, but it's all gray. And one of my biggest issues and fears is the ocean. And it's not like I just don't care to be in it. I don't want to drop a notch on the food chain. I feel like it's a living being with other beings in it, and they can do as they please with us. And so every now and then I wake up in the middle of this gray, awful looking sea, but it's not cold, it's warm, and I just know I have to swim to the rocks, to climb up the rocks, and then I need to get moving. And so that's what I do. I'll get out of the ocean, I'll get onto the rocks, and then I start going. And then what I notice is that I see other people, and they are usually frozen, usually looking at something, and I know that fire or water are coming for them, like floods and fires. That's what's on their way for these people who are not moving. Like they're just not moving. It's like they're stuck staring into the distance, and they just don't. It's like that Twilight Zone, you know, when the guy hit the watch or whatever and he broke it and time stopped forever. Then he's just wandering around these people. That's what I do. And it's not all the time. It's actually pretty rare at this point. Yes, Debbie. But that's there, and it's a lot of wandering, and it's a lot of different lefts and rights and turns, but I always know where I'm going. I know the alleys I go down this time. It's not the maze. It's outside the maze. And I don't know what I'm looking at there, but I know these people are just equally stuck looking at something, and it's not a good thing that it's on the way. Like it's coming for them, and it's fire or it's flood. It's water or fire, one or the other. And it's been that way for years now. Makes my heart beat funny when I think about it. Like it's just really, they're trapped, but they're outside of the maze. They're not all the way in, but then they still got this stuff coming for them. So is it like, what is that? How am I aware of everything and running down these streets when these people aren't aware of themselves? Or they're so preoccupied by what they're looking at that they're stuck. They're just not moving. And it's not a good thing that's coming for them. You know what I mean? Like, and it kind of makes me think about how it is now. Some of the people out there, you know, you've got these crazies, these absolute lunatics out there that are just sort of in charge of things. And the people who are going along with it, it's like they're getting mucked up and stuck in whatever this awfulness is. And maybe the whole flood and fire thing is just, you know, these are people who aren't gonna, not when I say aren't gonna make it, that's not what I mean, but they're stuck. They're stuck in their hate, they're stuck in their this or their that or the other. And they aren't gonna be moving on. And so they're just going to get stuck, and whatever's coming, they know what's coming for them. They can see it coming. You can see that fire coming. You can see that flood coming. You know that it is not good. It's coming. And I am always running the opposite direction. Like, no, hell with this. I am out of here, and feel free to come along, but don't just stand there and look at it. But they do. They always just stand there and look at it.
I think this is connected to the mechanics.
You think so?
Because I was trying to get into like, what are these mechanics? You know, while you were talking, I kind of ignored you a little bit.
Okay.
Because I wanted to get back to the mechanics.
Yeah, I'm so curious about them.
So these souls, they're like lost.
The ones that are frozen?
Yeah, because these mechanics, what I was hearing is like drafters or selectors.
Oh, okay. Who are they selecting? Are they selecting
the soul
for the maze or to get out of the maze?
No, to keep them in.
Shit.
And they work within this fracture.
Okay.
Right. The maze is relatively solid, right?
Yeah.
It's not really shifting, but these fractures can make it shift, right?
Yeah, well, the fractures seem to be where they pull souls from. And that's how I see it.
Right.
And it's always under construction. And when you're in it, it doesn't look the same as when you're outside of it. When I am overlooking it, it looks nothing like it did when I was in it. I mean, it would look like anything from, sometimes it was an apartment complex. And one time it was like a Fred Flintstone apartment. Everything was made out of rock. And it was always just the same. It was always the same. But from the outside, it looks like a muddy crap pile. And there's just, earth movers everywhere pushing things around. And that's what it looks like from the view I have now. And the mechanics told me under no uncertain circumstances, I am not allowed back in. Like, no, you don't go. You don't get to go there this time anymore. You are done in there. You have to go away from there.
It's like they don't want to. They want you to take their property.
Oh, well, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
It feels like you're sent there to, retrieve these souls, help them out, right?
Okay.
And they're blocking you.
Huh.
So what I was getting here, these people, these souls, they don't get, something goes on. It's not, I don't feel like they are tortured beings, they're not like.
No, it's just, they're just stuck on something, like stuck on stupid or something. I don't know how else to explain.
What I'm feeling is like their transformation from earthbound to heaven got interrupted.
Okay. That makes, like purgatory, maybe?
Kind of. But I don't feel like they were horrible people in life. Kind of like they needed something to work on quickly.
Okay.
But these mechanics snagged them in that process of the quick learning or whatever before. Yeah. What I'm being shown is that, when most people are ready to go, they have grandpa, grandma, others ready and waiting, saying, come, come to the light, come home.
Right.
But these don't, and they're trapped. And I totally get the sense of that movie, The Conjuring, like where this creature is like collecting souls, and they got the mechanics here helping keep those walls up, keep that block up.
Gives me the shivers.
Yeah, there's been a few times when you're talking, I've been getting those chest aches too.
Susan, no, I don't. It's alien related. Personally, I don't. I think it's dimensional.
This is not.
No.
This is a whole different realm that you're experiencing in between your travels.
Yeah. And Jan, that's why I'm kind of talking about it. I'm really hoping to find anybody out there who, who's ever experienced this place the way that I have, or anything even kind of close to it. And I went willing. Yes, we do. Ninja Holly. We call him. When I say ninja, that's Holly. She's my ninja. We call him the collector, and he collects. He collects, and when he's satisfied, he conducts. That's how I see it. He's they're his puppets, and they're his playthings, and his
right.
toys, and it just gives me absolute shivers head to toe. I was able to get out, but it took what I consider, even though I've been told by her that she is not, I consider her to be a super being of some sort or another, just because the power involved is so big. It is hulking and enormous and sharp and pointed. Like it is, I can feel it in my throat, and I don't even know what that means, but I can feel it. Just thinking about it, I don't know if she's around right now, but when I do, I know that being is looking over my shoulder and will not let me go back in there if I wanted to. She went almost like she came from another. Okay. It's almost like she came from an entirely other place altogether just to help little old me. And I'm not trying to get a big head over here. It just feels like that. Like she's like, no, you're somehow I'm a part of her. She's a part of me, and she's not going to have any part of her, whether it is something she's charged with guiding or watching. She's not going to have any part of her inside of that maze anymore. That's the only thing I can come up with. Because why? Like, why all the juice that it had to take to come get me out of there? I know it took energy. I know what she looks like. She's not normal. She's from some other place. And the power involved, to get a person out of there. So how powerful is the thing keeping the people there? That's terrifying. It is absolutely so scary. In my stomach, it makes me sick. The thing that is out there feeding on people, and this thing that exists outside of our own vision and our sight that we can't see, but I know is there, just like the paper I'm holding in my hand. And so there's just a lot of energy being expended to keep people trapped, and then also to extract them. So I haven't seen anybody else get out. I don't know of anybody. Holly's seen the maze, and I think she's on the outskirts of it, but she navigates it without getting trapped and getting stuck. She's always moving. You're not going to stop Starlight. That's just the way it is. Oh, Melly. I'm just looking at the chat real quick. Mm-hmm. Oh, Virgil. I don't know. I don't know. I do know that I get visitors in my dreams, and I have to tell them certain things. It's like health stuff, and they're real people, living people come into my dreams, and I know what I'm supposed to tell them in that dream. I know what they need to hear, and then I will tell them, and then I kind of watch and wait and see in my own world, did this happen? Was that baby a boy? Is that person okay? Did that person see this, or did that person see that? And it's been proven that yes, these people are coming to my dreams. I am telling them things, and then they leave my dream. It's almost like I'm helping them, but they're alive. And that makes really no sense whatsoever.
Did you see Virgil's comment up above a little bit?
That I'm being trained as a protector. Yeah, that's what I don't know. I don't feel like I'm in any position to protect things on the other side. I'm just lost out there. But I do always seem to know, not always, but I usually seem to know what to do. Courtney and Holly, I feel like they were we've had past lives together, lots of them, without a doubt. Thank you, Holly. Virgil, I hope so. I hope I'm of use somehow. I'm hoping that some of that all happened for a reason. I can see the sticky stuff and avoid it like the plague. Don't pick it up. Don't touch it. Don't play with it. Leave it alone. Yeah, so trying to think of anything else.
I mean, you've been there in these dreams.
Yes.
And you've been pulled out of it.
Yes. Yanked.
And you look at all those Conjuring movies, right? Like the one where he went back and got his son back.
Uh-huh.
And I keep getting that hit about that I think you are, with the help of your Medusa woman, to help retrieve at certain times when you're ready. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been shown all this. Right?
Yeah.
That's the hit I just keep getting, is that retrieval. And like I said, when you started talking about this, I see all these people behind you waiting. It's like, come help me. And then I get the visual of I had to dig through it, but the judgment card. If you look at the judgment card, it has an angel on top and all these people in a pot or in a the sludge or whatever.
Yes.
Save me. And that's the visual I'm getting too, is like, people waiting for you, save me, because they're stuck.
Yeah. Hi, Kathy. It's good to see you too.
Hey, Kathy. And it feels funny. Like it is in that realm of the learning part. Like some souls have to learn from their bad deeds here, and it's like that learning part. But then it's like, it's really hard to figure out who, what, where, and why they're there.
Yeah. No, it's really big. The whole situation is large.
Because, I've seen the learning part. I've been
Mhm.
shown the learning part anyway, you know, where they're on a bench kind of thing.
Yeah.
Reliving their life, you know, by themselves.
Hmm.
You know, and I've seen the event of off to heaven, you know, good to go. So I'm not really positive yet how they get fractured.
Well,
So
I know with me,
it
in
must be a
my,
broken soul. Like
yes.
something happens, like there might be a brief stop of learning or something, and then there's a crack, and then someone misses catching them, and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden the mechanics come in and like, you're mine.
Yes.
And the collector's
Uh,
got another one.
yeah. So I know that with me, what got me trapped is, it still makes my stomach go. Um, it was it was loss. I lost my dad. That was my anchor. I was adrift. There was, and I lived in, my husband and I, we had 3 kids. He worked 12, 14 hours a day, every single day. He works very hard, always has. Um, but I was home with 3 very small kids. And I was inside, hollowed out like some kind of a gourd. My heart was gone. My soul felt lost. I just, boom, he was gone. A couple days after we moved back from Texas, I hadn't even gotten to see him yet. And it was devastating. Like it was a nuke to my world. And I was easy pickings. That's how I see it. I went, they showed curious. I'm going to follow it. I'm going to go see what that's about. And they knew just how to get me in there. And I went and I got stuck. And I was so stuck. And every day you feel like you're dying a little bit more. It's like it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts or whatever. Um, just trapped. And every night that you're dreaming, whenever you have one of these dreams,
Oh
you're
my word.
giving what? Yeah, you're given.
I think you're onto something there.
Ooh,
It's those low points.
yeah. No, I was on the floor. I didn't,
It's not. It's not. They aren't trapped from when they pass. They're trapped from before.
I mean, I
You
was.
know, like they pass, and that attachment is still there, and it's like a contract from the collector kind of thing prior because they're in this low point of
Right.
missing.
Yeah. It's
Because
if
that could be that fracture. You know that we're.
yeah, no, because that is how I see it. I will die saying this. My dad died and I fractured. And I'm off with my pen. I've got a wand. And I've always been somewhat fractured first place, I guess, not doing the whole childhood thing, but yeah, thinking about the poo. I if I hadn't had my dad, I'd have been in foster care. That is the kind of mother I had. I had a real narcissistic mother, and you stay away from giving that kind of person energy, and out of fear, you shut down and stuff like that. And
They're alive.
there's all sorts. I feel like there's something. Yeah, it's what Holly says. There is a consciousness. They're consciously, but it's being trapped. You are awake, and you are trapped. Like the ones that I'm seeing that are staring into the distance and seeing this floods and fires come for them, they aren't moving. They can see what's coming, but they're not moving. So what are they seeing in their minds, in their mind's eye? What are they seeing? I have no idea. But I imagine it could have been something like what I was seeing. I'm just riding this yellow bike looking for my dad. And is it that I was conscious? I was aware. I knew I was stuck. I knew I was trapped. The only difference here is that they don't seem to be trying to get out. They are not going anywhere. These others they're just standing, and they're just long distance staring. I know what's coming for them. It's not good. And they don't seem to care. They don't seem to be in any way worried or concerned about it. And it's floods and it's fires, and it's just like a burning, and it's gonna eat them up. I've never actually seen it get them, I've only ever I just know that it's on its way, and I go as fast as I can in the opposite direction. And I avoid all dirt roads. Every dirt road I avoid. And if I come to a dirt, navigating Beth's dreams, if I come to a dirt road, I go up. I go straight up the nearest hill or whatever it seems to be. I hope Holly does. Holly, I love you. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to tell this little story here. I believe it was last week, and Scott, I told you about this. Her and I had the same dream, sort of. My dream was that she was with me, and she's often with me in my dreams. And now and then I'm in this, it's a hotel, it's not a motel. She was with me and we're just doing our thing. And I come to an elevator and she's, we're going to get on this elevator, and the letters were all in Chinese. I don't speak Chinese, but anyway, there were 3 of them, and I hit the button instantly. It was instant. And I felt the force on my body. The walls all went like shoved her and I into a, thank you, shoved her and I into a tiny little white room. But it's not the white room. It's just like a boardroom looking thing, or like an entrance to a boardroom. It's like an off room. And it was like we were shoved in there and the door was slammed, right? And it was as soon as I hit that elevator button. And on the other side, there was another door, and a woman opened it, and she just looked at us, and she was Chinese. And she stood aside and she invited us in. And so we go in, and guess what they're looking at? They're overlooking the maze. And it was the several different like Asian men. And they were looking out of a window also, but it was a lot like an observation station, where my dad's house is just a modular home on a hill. This is like overlooking, like up high, overlooking. And I was told in no uncertain terms, no more elevators. And Holly is just out of elevators in her dreams, period. That is the, and that was another thing. The collector came from my sister. She was about to get on an elevator. And so many dreams, the elevators I'm not to go near them. Like I'm warned away from them. And I don't know what that means, but she was very distinctly there. And she told me about her dream in the morning, and they're similar. They're too similar not to be connected. And I feel her in my sleep, and I know she knows I'm there, and it's one of those things. But so she's also seeing the conductor, and she's also being shoved out of places she's not supposed to be. So yeah, it's not just me. The Chinese thing makes me think, what the hell though? Was I in China? But outside that observation station was the fractures up in the sky, and down on the ground was the maze, and it was the construction and everything else. And up in the sky, there were the fractures. And I could actually see, now and then I see like a moon sort of running through all of them. I don't know how to describe it. It's very pale and transparent, but it seems to be happening in all of the fractures at the same time every now and then, if that makes any sense. It's just a visual that I see, and it's not all the time. It's just sometimes.
Do you remember you 3 ever being in the same dream? You, Holly, and
Courtney? Courtney, yes, my dad actually told me, we didn't talk for about almost a year one time, and my dad came in a dream and told me distinctly, showed me Courtney, said, "You get a hold of her now." I'm like, okay. And so I did. I have not seen all 3 of us together in the same dream, but I see Holly all the time. And if I don't see her, I feel her all the time. She's like, I don't know.
I'm just wondering if you 3 went together, that would be some pretty good power.
It would be interesting.
To pull out people. I'm trying to think about that comment that Holly made, that I think it was Holly, that
they're alive in there. I think that's a consciousness thing. They're conscious. You're conscious in there. Like, it's like when I go to sleep, I am awake and I'm conscious. I know they say it's lucid dreaming or whatever. It's not, all the time. Sometimes I just have regular stupid dreams, but when I'm awake, and
Right.
I'm conscious, and I was alive, conscious, and awake. And every one of those maze dreams that I had, I was trapped, I was stuck. And that consciousness, I think, just gets so stuck there that, they're alive in there and conscious and stuck.
I don't think myself that someone can exist when their soul is stuck in another plane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd be like in a coma or something.
Yeah.
If their soul is not with them.
I think she means more like they're more conscious than their bodies are alive,
That I believe.
Yeah. But then I do believe, I do believe, just like I was stuck, I do think that some of these people are here now, like you and I and Holly and Courtney and, Lori Sue and Melly and everybody else. We are all here, but we can also get stuck in that purgatory while we're alive. And when we are asleep, when our subconscious is active and our waking hours are done, that is when that energy is feeding and it comes for you. And you're stuck, but you're still alive. Your heart's still beating in your body, but you're not moving anywhere. You're stuck. It's that quicksand, and you're never gonna get out. Yeah, she says that's what she means.
Okay.
So
I tossed a few cards on it, and remember I was telling you about the judgment card? Look what came up.
What? Oh man.
See all those people.
Yes, I do. That gives me chills in my back. Whew.
That's kind of what I see. They're looking for help.
That's kind of scary. Lori Sue says that makes sense. Yes. Not to throw a wrench into it, but if time doesn't exist and all your lives are simultaneous, it means a part of their consciousness is stuck there while other bits of consciousness do other things. Sure, I have no idea about consciousness. I think that we can get fractured totally, and parts of us exist in different places and here and there, and we can get trapped. I don't pretend to know anything about time, though, Melly, at all, except that it moves too quick.
There was that one night Andrea and I got into time pretty deep.
Did you? I think I was there. Yeah. Yes, I was there.
And I am pretty sure we figured it out because it was like a revelation. So who was I talking to about it? Was it you? But yeah, it was you about our two guides.
Yes.
Yes, I was getting that hit that at the creation of our existence, we were assigned by the
two guides,
the source creator.
Yep.
You've had two guides that have been with you for life since your reincarnate start. That's how we know, because all the information is in those two guides from all your past lives.
Yeah.
It's always been. They've always been for you.
Right.
So predicting of what you're going to do from all your past lives, they know. So we're tapping into them for prediction or what's going on and getting information from them from what's going on.
And I know that I'm
trying to figure out Melissa's comment here about time. It's going away. I got to move it. Okay.
Roxanne, it's all up here. I do write things down, but it's all in my noodle.
Time doesn't exist. It does exist.
Yeah.
It always exists.
Here it definitely exists, for sure.
All our lives are simultaneous.
Simultaneous. Current.
All of them word.
Like, I kind of get that perspective
I
because,
do and I don't. You know what I mean?
I remember, like I remember, like I told you, the revolution, I was there. I remember being killed once by a woman with a large broom. Um, I've seen these other places and other times, and I've often wondered, am I just hopscotch? Am I sleeping and then living in other times? But I don't think, like, for me personally, I don't think that's what it is. I think I have memories from other times that are just all stored up in my recording device here, and
Right.
just they sort of, I have them. I have those memories like I have my first memories. All of them are just there at the beginning. It's like you hit play, you go through these ones first, and then you get on to my life. But there's
Right.
these other ones before it, and they're there. And I know that if I'm about to go the wrong direction, I get a very hard nudge in the right one. Like, it's been a long time since I tried to go left, but
Right.
I'm told I just don't want to. I don't want to tap into that negative that I believe I have before, or my soul, in my lives. I don't think that I was always, I remember wars and tapping into dark magic, and like I can feel it. It's right there. I can feel it. And it's just like the minute you ask for it, that kind of heap and help and a bad is ready to just, ooh, come here, come here, come here. It's like the collector.
Right.
And so I have to, no, I do not play with that. I'm not going to pick that up and play with it.
Yeah, it's just a nudge that you're more aware to know these senses that, okay.
Yeah, like,
I'm not supposed to take that right turn.
yeah, we're not going that direction. You have gone down that road before, Beth, and it didn't end well for you. Like, just stop.
Yeah.
And Courtney says she has memories and feelings of us all together. So our little inside joke is that we were all burned at the stake together at one point, and we're back. And I wouldn't doubt it a bit. As Roxanne says, coming from my own experience, I did too. It's all up there. You will forget significant details. Yeah. That's not a super huge problem for me, but yes, I do write things down if I feel like I need to. I have bookmarks and signs and maps. It's pretty concrete up there. Not like I know everything. I definitely don't. And I do definitely forget things because I'm a human being. But my writing is taken on a whole life of its own, and I put it all into a story form, and then the story is just sort of a constant thing that's running in my head, and I just put stuff in there, and it's like putting in a lockbox, and I don't have any problem getting to them. What dimensions are your guides living in? I have no idea. Scott would probably know where
I didn't want to lose that comment, so I put it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm curious. They are from somewhere else for sure. I know that one is from a long time ago, and I think they're all from a long time ago, but I don't know. I have no idea. Some other place. And the fire woman, she's a whole other animal altogether. Even though I get the impression that she doesn't see herself as anything more than me. And when I say more than me, she sees I'm a life and she's a life. And that's how she sees it. We're lives, and all life is, she's taking that I'm valuable because I'm life to her, and she's valuable to me because she's, I don't know, big and scary and alive in my head, and I listen to her, and it just, but I have no idea where she comes from. I think she came from somewhere altogether else, just to, I don't want to get a big head again, but to help me. She came to help me. That's why she's here, at least for me in my mind.
Different places. Well, my feeling is guides, most extraterrestrial, the goodness all hangs out in that fifth realm.
Mm-hmm.
That's my sense.
That
And that fourth realm is where you do your learning, and I think where the darkness is.
Okay.
It's that, and also like if, let's say someone hasn't passed on yet, or I mean, has passed, but they don't realize it.
Right.
And then you have all these experiences going on in your house and electrical things, or you get all these cold chills. Well, like past loved ones that ever have to come down through the dimensions to the fourth to
retrieve them.
To the earth.
Yeah.
Right. You're that much close to 3-day, 4-day, you're close to the earth. So they can make these things happen energetically.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to get out of that fourth, because fourth is kind of dangerous territory. That's where I sense these shadow people are, and these other weird entities, and the blackness and darkness, because they can affect, areas this close, but they hide, it's another dimension.
Right.
But all the goodness and what I sense is that heaven and guides and ETs hang out in the fifth dimension.
The fifth, right. Yeah. We're down
somewhere
here.
Even higher, but that's my sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they can transmit from this greater dimension. They're also connected better, to our source creator and other knowledge too, being in that dimensional area.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. They got to come from somewhere. And we're all trying to get to that fifth dimension. I think that's the goal.
Right. That's the goal. We
got to get there. And it's like they have retrieval teams. So I had an experience in my attic. A relative had passed very unexpectedly. And this is my attic. I was up here looking for pictures for the memorial. And I was digging out all the pictures I could find, and I felt that person, and she was pissed. She's like, "Why am I here? What happened?" She did not know she had passed yet. She did not understand. It was very sudden, very unexpected, and in her sleep. And so she was very confused. And it was a few days later, I heard from her again that she was okay. And then a couple of months after that she was really okay. And this is what she told me. And it was, I'll tell you later who this was. It was just a family member. I don't want to use the name on here just because out of respect, but she told me that now she finally found the love that she was always looking for. And she sings for God, like the universe. And she's got that spotlight and love on her that she wasn't able to get here in this 3D world that was so very painful for her. And so now she's okay and she's safe, but it wasn't immediate. She didn't go until she was moved on. So it gives me just such chills to think about too, because it's like a retrieval team. It's an extraction team. They come down here, the guides, whatever, different teams apparently, because, she had passed, I was alive, and I was removed in my dreams from this situation, and she was removed because she had passed away and her soul was trapped here. So there's a couple different things going on there. And I mean, I don't try to make a whole lot of sense of it. I go ahead and just sort of let it happen. I just accept that it is what it is. There's some things I am never going to understand as long as I'm here in this flesh vessel.
It's an interesting question, Neptune's Jan. What's the objective of the collector?
Oh, God. I think that it is to feed. I believe it feeds on our light and our souls. Any hope that you might have had, it's going to get it because it found its end when you were in pain. And when, Christina, yes, and when you're in pain and that thing gets in there and it's just sucking off your soul, it is trying to replace what it never had. It never had a light. It never had its own anything, so it steals. And it gives me the complete creeps.
No problem, Lisa. Yeah. Hi, Lisa. Something that may need a deeper thought.
Yeah, totally. Well, because that's the only thing I can come up with, because I know how I felt when I was in there. It was like having a parasite attached to me and going and just, it's like that, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to sit there and feed on you, and there's nothing you can do. You are powerless unless you sort of become awake and start taking your own roads. And if you're lucky or fortunate or whatever that I am, I had a guide come in and get me, or a being come in and get me. And no, I don't believe that she was an alien. I think she's just like some kind of a soul from another fracture maybe. And maybe she heard me screaming for help. I mean, that is really, I've thought about that. I wanted out so bad. I knew that I was in there and I was just desperate. You pray and you're like, please don't let me dream about this again. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back there. And it's just like you're crying or whatever out to the universe. And I feel like something heard me and it came for me. And then I've also got my dad who I think he's got a hookup on the other side. So he's able to come and go and help me and guide me as he can.
Yeah, a lot of that area is where other people go, when astral traveling. And your soul is seeking out, and you're in that fourth, and that's where that danger lurks.
Yeah, I'm an astral traveler too. I go places, even if I'm not with the aliens. I'm usually going somewhere since I was little, and I used to go with the woodworker, the man that I called the woodworker that I've talked about, and places full of light and things like that. I've always known they were always. You can just go. They're right there if you can access them. I can't unless I'm guided these days. Just I'm old and my brain shut off. But when I was a kid, I could go. I just went. Things are too rough. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go traveling. So.
Well, that's the tough part. Some people aren't protected. They just go and find these attachments.
Yeah. No. And if I had, honestly, I feel like if I hadn't, gotten out of there, I don't know if I would be here today. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Energetically, I feel like something was slowly killing. That's how I feel. It was slowly draining my life force, and I felt it. I absolutely felt it. Christina, she's gonna feed me. Love to eat. Which a weird thing that has happened here lately is that I'm not to eat beef anymore. The other siders have told me. I told you about that. I woke up and I'm not supposed to eat any more beef, which, okay, it's different, and I love steak, but I'm not going to touch it anymore. I know. It's like, oh, give me some London broil. And you said it's because I'm supposed to be kind of clearing it out, clearing myself up. Lori Sue.
And then you get to grow your hair too.
Yeah, and I'm not supposed to cut my hair anymore. So this bun's going to go straight to Jesus. It's so tall. Holly says she went in with no protection. Holly says, I went in with no protection and no clue about protecting herself. And that was when, you suggested to her that, crystals and protecting herself with Michael, the Archangel Michael.
Yes.
And sending some of my crazy, vicious guard dog things that are patrolling my fences, the mutant dogs.
Don't need Holly going in there unprotected. That's when things go wrong in life. When you come back unprotected, that's when chaos happens in life. I've read on people.
Well, so with Holly is such a bright light. It's one of those things that shines at everybody, whether it should or not. It's going to shine on you.
Right.
And if she didn't, put some kind of protections in place, those takers they're out there. Those takers are out there and they will drain you dry. Courtney. Yes, Courtney knows.
Yeah, that was crazy when you told me about that dream. And I'm like, what the heck are these hound dogs? They're like
the mutants. I don't know if we've even talked about that.
Yeah. You asked me the dream and I'm like, what are these things? They look like, what did I say they look like? They look like hound dogs, but creepier and larger and huge heads. And
they're huge. They're like horns. They got horns. These animals have teeth that like, and they are and that. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't think I shared this on our last chat, but they were patrolling my borders. But they were patrolling my borders, and the border on the other side was so many shadows big, scary shadows, and they wanted in. And those dogs, the one, and he was the leader dog, he turned his giant head towards me, and he said, this is when I had my granddaughter, and I had my granddaughter, and she was in my arms, and his dog said, go, we've got this. And, so I take the baby and I go further into the house, and I watch this giant dog creature run with others out into this field that is up against the line. And one of those shadows decided they were going to charge, make their move. They're going to shoot their shot. And the shadow morphed from like a human looking shadow to a boar, like a wild giant boar, tusks. And these dogs tore it to shreds, absolute shreds. The lead dog, the one that I consider to be in charge, just ripped it to pieces and was like, no, you don't get to go near either of them. And I know my granddaughter, she's a traveler. She comes and goes in my dreams all the time. And I think she's got lots of protection on her. And I don't know if those dogs were mine or hers, but we've got them. they're just absolute mutants, And they
remember when you texted me about it, though, you were pretty afraid after that dream. It was crazy.
I woke up crying. I woke up absolutely bawling my eyes out, and I went out into the living room, and I was talking to my husband just like in hysterics. I'm not a hysterical person by any stretch of the imagination ever. And I don't like to cry kind of gal unless I'm like alone in the car and screaming at God. But I was completely hysterical on the couch with my husband, and he's like, I understand, this is some scary territory we're in, and it's got a whole backstory with my daughter, but it was terrible. I was so scared. I didn't know what it meant. I just knew there was like a bunch of juju around me, and I didn't know what to do with it at all. And giant mutant dogs, where do those even come from, for Pete's sake?
Well, they were manifested from your friend.
And the amount of shadows that were on the other side is
those are the ones
horrifying.
You want to be afraid of.
They were lurking. They were just beyond trees, and when they decided to charge, or one did, and it changed its shape, and it just came. But it was absolutely no match for that dog. None. That dog tore it to pieces. I saw shadow chunks, like like meat being ripped apart, but it was like shadows.
Yeah. So now you don't have to worry about mutant dogs. They got your back.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with those. I send them Holly's way and Courtney's. Like, go protect, girl. Go protect. Keep them safe. Neptune's Jan says, Beth, you're just seeing things the rest of us can't, maybe. It's entirely possible. I have no idea. I know I just see this stuff. It is, and sometimes I'm horrified by it, and sometimes I'm enlightened, and all the time, though, I am completely confused.
No, I think you can see things that others can't. What's actually going on.
And it's getting more, too. It's starting to happen when I'm awake.
Those shadows?
The other day.
They're negative.
No, not the shadows. Well, I'm aware of them. I've become aware here lately. I can feel them. But they're not by me. They're like outskirt. That's
right.
And when I get that feeling, that's like when I told you earlier that I can stop in the middle of my day and I feel those hands, the thousands of hands. Ancestors is what I think it is. And I imagine that, and I just pull that down, and it is just like that. It's like I stop and I just pull down those beings, as crazy as that sounds. And then that feeling of the lurkers goes away. I feel like they're very in this 3-dimensional world. Like they lurk around here, and they're always looking for something to feed on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Book B. Yeah, the bigger the hair, the closer to God. Mine's going to be about 4 feet tall here soon. I was distinctly told I am not to cut my hair, and I was shown antenna. So I got up in the morning and I told my husband, like, oh, I'm not cutting my hair ever again. I might trim it up, but that is it. He's like, okay. And I said, well, it's my antenna. Don't you know? He's like, all right, honey. I love your hair. As long as they don't tell me to stop dyeing it, because I am not going to let all this gray happen yet. I'm not going to have that yet. Yeah, if I swing my neck around too hard, I'm going to get a kink in it. Yeah, Courtney, they are ancestors. And I mean, I can talk about the ones that I saw with my husband the other night if you want me to. I don't know if we have time or if we're coming up on a cap or anything, but
well, usually I like to keep it around 2 or so. 2 hours or so.
Okay, we're at 150.
Well, yeah.
I can make a quick, dense version of my most recent encounter with.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my husband recently has been, I don't know, he's my husband's a great big, real focus driven kind of guy. Likes his beer every now and then, and he was a smoker. I had a dream. I was among giants. They were native looking, but they looked very prehistoric, with heavy brows, big cheeks, and these guys were very big, and red and brown blankets. You know, they had red and brown attire. My husband was wrapped in the blankets, and they were wrapping him inside of this dwelling sort of situation. I'm just like back here like, who, that's my guy, what are you doing? And I was taken out, but I saw they were smoke and feathers, and they were chanting, and I heard drums, and I want to call it like wailing, but it was beautiful. Like just this noise, and it was beautiful. And I was taken outside by one, and his hair went up, like the front of it went up, and then it was long, like some kind of wicked mullet. And he had shells in his hair, and he was wrapped in a red and brown blanket. And like I said, their faces are very different. Like the cheeks and the brow ridges are very large, but they are also very large themselves, but they don't look human. I mean, they're humanoid-ish, whatever. So he looks me in my eyes, and he tells me, you know, they're sealing him, they're fixing him. Any holes that were there are going to be filled. He has a greater purpose. And not even kidding, he stopped smoking. He's not drinking his beers anymore. He's got a whole new attitude about many things. And he started, you know, he works on leather, and he builds things, and he's really good at it, and he's thrown himself into that. And I don't know, it's just a complete shift from how things were. And I believe that these beings are tinkering with him. And he would wake up and he was telling me, oh my God, I had this crazy dream, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, so here's what I think is going on. And he's like, oh, honey, God, you're fine. I love you, but no, I don't think it's ancient natives. I'm like, oh no, it's ancient natives giants, mister. They're very large. They're bigger than you, and you are being told exactly, you know, what to do, and you're stuck. So they're fixing you, and they're sealing your holes. And he's like, what in the hell are you talking about, woman? But yeah, it's just part of living life. Let's see. Kashmir, have you ever talked to anyone who specializes in? No, I haven't. Oh yeah, actually, I had a therapist one time. We went to therapy, as lots of people do, lots of couples do, and I think it's a wonderful thing to do it. She came from, her name was Dr. Barb, and she was a phenomenal little creature. She had Mayan artifacts all over her office. She had smuggled them out of South America, and she told me that, you know, it was likely that I have something of a dissociative disorder, but it doesn't hurt anybody, so it's fine. So, and she also told me never discount my dreams, because you don't know when you are going to be getting messages from the other side. That was the first person with a medical background that ever told me that I wasn't completely insane. And because I told her about my fire woman, I told her about all of these things and my story and the things that I see and the things that I dream about. And she's like, they would label it a dissociative disorder, but if it's not hurting anybody and it's helping you, then roll with it. And so I rolled. I kept rolling, and here I am. It just keeps getting more. Yeah, Courtney remembers Dr. Barb. I've known her a million years. What if you don't remember your dream? Sometimes I don't, Ernest. Sometimes I just sleep like anybody else.
Yeah. But the other day, I woke up every hour of the night, and I texted you the next day and told you about it. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And you said, I do that every night. I'm like, well, thanks for giving that to me.
Yeah, I wake up constantly at night. Usually if I sleep all night, it's because something was going on in my subconscious. I don't usually sleep all night long. I'm up and down constantly. No real reason, and I function fine. It's just how I am. Kind of sleepless.
God, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I've been that way my whole life, just since I was little.
You're a massive headache?
Oh no, the sleepless. Sleepless, not the headache. I might be I'm a headache for some people, I think.
Oh Lordy.
Neptunes, yep. You get a good therapist or counselor who doesn't make you feel crazy. It's wonderful.
Well, that's the last thing on my bucket list. I think she may have been talking about a past regression with a hypnotherapist.
Oh yeah, I haven't gone to a I don't know that I can be hypnotized.
Don't know until we try, but
that's just
that's
true.
It's still on my bucket list.
I might be. I think it would be interesting. I'm going to get one of those readings with Bob, get a past life regression, or look at the Akashic records and see exactly some of these things. And I'd like to know where I went wrong before, some of the wars there's just one that I see that's big and bad, and there was magic involved, and I didn't do very good things, I don't think, out of pain and some kind of suffering, and just went all in with the bad. And so I would love to sort of find out what that's about. What's that about? And I feel it's like repelling. It's that whole don't you touch that. Don't you touch that again. You leave it alone. You look at the light, damn it. Don't you look at that dark stuff. Otherwise,
Yeah. Like my thing with Bob confirmed a lot of things that I've already felt. But he also, I'd have to click on, I can put it in Bob's email.
Okay.
I'll put it in the description later if you want to come back and take a peek. Can't remember his last name right now, but many of us, since Andrea showed us Bob, have done the Akashic records, and it's a very good tool. It helps you find things. It helps to have the questions, but where you want to go, because then you can tap right in where you've been. It's things like, oh, I think I've been in the Middle East before, or I feel a connection to, Ireland or something, but it's hard to really tap in and say, yep, you were here, you were in a war, you were a lieutenant, you died early, those kind of things. It's like, makes sense, And
it resonates, and then pieces fall into place with every little, thing that you get. Hi, Twina. Every little you get.
Right. I went in the service for 4 years in the Air Force, but I got out. And that's what I kind of felt was like when I was in a military type service before, I got out because I died in those wars.
Yeah, that's what. You said that even before you ever talked to Bob, that you think
that was my senses, right? And he confirmed it.
Yeah, you kept dying. That's terrible.
I died a few times in battle, so
yeah,
kind of felt like I wanted to stay out of that battle.
Yeah, and I feel that's how that's how I feel like this life around. I'm not supposed to do some of the things I've done before. I'm just supposed to kind of sit this one out and keep an eye on things, maybe be a good person.
Be a good person. Maybe collect some souls.
Oh my God, make
out of the pit.
A little bit of penance there, making up for some past actions. Bring my alien friends around and do what I can.
Yeah. I mean, there's some certain things, I've been blocked from Virgil until I get that reassurance, whatever. I've been blocked from you and certain things. And like, I didn't see that until you opened up about it or asked about it. I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. Just
some things aren't meant to be known at certain times. Until that door can open up.
Yep. Until that door is for you, you just don't get to go through it. Like, it's just gonna stay closed. That's how I really do think that some doors just aren't for me. And if I can yank on it all I want, I'm not gonna get in. If it's not for me. If I can't see it, then I don't know, look another time. And like with the dark stuff, I got to make sure I keep myself protected, because that whole, it's like fishing. It's that dark. Okay. That dark energy feels like it's always fishing. You know what I mean? Like it's always out there trying to catch you, trying to lure you in, be it the maze or the shadows. It's
very easy to slip that way.
It's just,
slip slow. When someone gets into a depressional state, things aren't going well, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It could be just like that.
Well, I have to keep it, my moods, I have a tendency to really, if I don't keep it level, I tend to go on the sort of doomsday side if I'm sad or upset or anything like that. I will doomsday a situation. And I've been very, 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 very clearly told no more of that. So, when I'm standing there, if I'm irritated with something and I'm focusing on that, I remember I have a very cranky guide who will come to me and kick my ass in my sleep. That she loves me, and I am going to think good things, because that's what's good for me and that's what's good for my soul. We are not dwelling on the garbage anymore. And that's that's like it's like having a safety guard. Like I'm not going to go there. I'm not going low. I'm going to keep myself up.
There you go. Yes.
The minute you go down, there's that trying to get you. It feeds on your negative thoughts. Negative anything. It's energy. You produce energy every time you think a thought, in my opinion, and energy can't die. So if you're out there producing negative thoughts and negative energy, where's that going to go? It's going through the ripples. It's going through the forever. So adjust that, change it, find yourself a happy thought, even if it's just like the sky is blue and it is not raining. Hallelujah. I'm going to stick to that for the rest of the day. Or I've got my health. Start small. Start small when you're there.
How quick a turnaround did you have then? When you text me the other day, your joints are aching and everything felt horrible. I felt like someone attached to you, or that negative attached to you from another person there. How quick did it turn around then?
It was about a day.
How long was you feeling? Huh?
It was about the day. Yeah, about the day. It was just, something, the redhead, it was the whole day. Like Holly and I were reading the entire day on that because we both had the same dream. And I can't stress that enough. We're two completely different people in two completely different states. And we had the same dream about the same redheaded man, offering trinkets and offering her something else, family members. It was the whole day. I had a headache. I wasn't feeling well. My body ached, everything. And it was just like having just even that tiny bit of interaction was completely draining. Ugh. And I don't even feel like of course he'll take me, but like he's not actively hunting me right now. That's not, you know what I mean? I happen to be observing he's looking for anything. So right now he's the collector because he's looking, he's seeking, he's hunting. He's not satisfied right now. And when he's satisfied, he'll become the conductor again, just playing with his puppets inside of his hell maze. So
did Holly feel the same or just you?
yeah, she did. We both felt like absolute crap that day.
Oh, Lordy.
Let's see. Lisa says, how many hours do you sleep nightly? It seems like your mind is constantly having to be on high alert. Yeah, I don't sleep very well. Ever. It's just like if I go to sleep, if I'm not having experiences in my sleep, be it abductions or working. Yeah, and Holly says here she got physically ill.
You puked. Wow.
Then I'm up. Like I'm just up and down, up and down, up and down. And it just is what it is. You know, if I turn over, I wake up. If I anything, I just wake up. Yeah, we were sick. I hurt, but I didn't throw up.
I'm not sure. I thought it was a real life person that you took. So I was feeling like you met someone and you instantly took their pain away or something. But you're connected to Holly too. She could have got it too. But do you think maybe it was from a dream or being in that other?
Well, we both
realm?
had the same dream about the redheaded man, and I think he gave us pain. That's how I feel. And there he was talking to other people. It's just the interaction with that
Right.
gives you distress. It's just even interact.
Took some life force or something.
Yeah, totally. It was like having a sucker fish on you, and it's bleeding you dry. And even that minute bit of difference, just like, or interaction, that tiny interaction of just telling him, no, I'm not gonna. And he went into like a vortex behind him, and he was pissed. He was so mad because I refused him. I said, no, I don't want what you have. And Courtney did the same thing, or Holly did the same thing. Courtney says, Beth and I are 3 hours time zone difference, and she's up with me most days. We don't sleep. It's true. What do you got?
Yeah, I think maybe it was within a dream state. I just tossed some cards to kind of confirm. Here's that conductor, collector.
That looks like King Henry, doesn't it?
Well, he does. He does have a.
It's like Henry VIII.
And he actually has red hair too.
Yeah.
Then that makes me feel that's souls. You know, he was taking.
Yeah, he was very he was approaching other people. It was like a line of people. Gives me chills. There was a line of people that he was sort of like driving past, but the car was very strange, and he was showing them different things, like, look, get in my car. And there was the one where he was very vocal. He said, I want one of them to go with me. And he wanted somebody. He was hunting. That's what it felt like to me. He was after energy. Maybe he's getting hungry again, or people are dying or leaving. I'd have no idea. Or maybe he's just up on his quota and he needs some more bodies in there, or some more spirits in there.
Well, I guess that's why I didn't understand it. I think this happened before you told me about the conductor.
Yeah. Well, I told you about it right. I told you about it right after, because I tend to keep the conductor very private, just because I don't like to give him. Well, number one,
I did get the right thing. You did. You completely took your energy, but I was feeling, because my first thought was, well, did you go to the grocery store and someone took your energy, or you took someone's energy, and it affected you? That was my first thought.
Oh.
So you went somewhere. And energy was taken.
Yes, well. So I didn't say anything about the collector.
Right, I didn't know about this before.
And you also told me that it wasn't me that he was after; it was Holly, and that she needed to protect herself.
Yes. you got you three, Molly, Courtney, you.
Uh-huh.
Now
Oh
you
my
guys,
God.
now you guys got sick.
Yes. Oh, shivers.
Dude,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
I
Holly
think
didn't.
you all came in at the same time because someone needed help and you all got sick. Someone saved you. Oof.
It's
That's a
very,
bad
very,
dude. That's a bad dude.
he's a very bad guy, and he makes you ill. And it's like his rage spreads. He gets very angry that he doesn't get what he wants. And, Holly picked up on his anger very loud and clear. And when I told her, she refused him. She flat refused him, even though he tried to lure her with the image of her daughter. And she had, or her niece, not her niece, niece or daughter. Which one was it? Was it both, Ninja? Um, and she had just given away her crystals to a loved one, and it was her niece who had been in the dream. And so she was without her crystals, and the collector knew that. And he was out there hunting. And I do believe that contact with oh gosh, like, it's kind of one of those guilt by association things, right? Like, he's familiar with my vibe. He knows my energy because he's feasted on it before, just like he has so many countless others. Holly is very much in my vibe. Courtney is very much in my vibe. My son, which I haven't mentioned just because he's my son. He doesn't want any of this, he's just very private, but my son has seen him and he knew what I was talking about. And he told me, he avoids him. He avoids this person, and he called him the conductor. And I have been calling him the conductor and the collector for years. He said it's like he's in there, this place, and he's just conducting everybody. He's like a conductor. And I mean, I just dead ass stopped in my tracks. There was no way for him to know about that kind of thing. It was, so it's, it's just not I think it's a guilt by association thing. Like, not guilt, but he gets one vibe and then he's like, oh, well, let me taste that one over there that's next to it, that one loves and that one cares about, and sort of morphs through people. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah.
Yes,
it does.
It's just something crawling along, and it's, ooh, I can't eat off that carcass anymore. I'm going to go over here and try to see if this one's any tastier. This one.
It's more like you're in that other realm finding this out.
Yeah.
But like, if other people have ever watched the Dead Files.
There's a Dead Files about our town. It's up the road. Yeah, I think I've told you.
Yeah.
I've told you about
the Dead Files. she deals, or the show deals with a lot of those things. How it just drains people.
Drains, and I am right next to. Well, it's a place I don't go if I don't have to. She was actually out there on property out there that I avoid like the plague because I don't like it. It's very, very dark, and Holly knows, she's she lived here her whole life. It's just dark up there, and that's in the city north of us. And then there's another place they call the Prairie, and I don't go out there because it's like my whole energy is rejected out there. I'm not wanted, and I feel like that's a past life thing if I'm getting out in the weeds. But just energy, it's such a thing.
Well, what's Courtney talking about?
We're
just talking about this. Talking about what?
We were women. We were. we get way neck deep in this. The energy in the places.
Okay.
Yeah, just the different places around us that are not welcoming to our vibration whatsoever. My vibration.
Well, Lisa says you have fantastic energy.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. That's sweet. At least as long as I make sense to anybody. Because I don't, this is one of those, I don't really talk about this. This is because I don't want to give it, I don't want to call it. Is that, what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to call it, but at the same time, if anybody else is familiar with this, I can learn from that, or they can learn from this,
Right.
one of the, and it might be familiar to somebody. I know others are there.
Right. By you just talking here, maybe someone will happen to watch it and be like, oh my God, and then comment.
And that's how it starts. That's how I got here.
Yeah.
It's just how it starts. We find you. Let's see, Roxanne. Predators pick up on that stuff. Neptunes, absolutely. Even humans, for sure. Oh, I love you, Holly. See, she says I make her life make sense, but
you all make each other's
life
make sense.
They are, they make my world. If I feel like without these two people in my life, I would not be who I am today. Hands down, I would not be the same person I am if I didn't have the two ladies.
Right. I mean, you go through all this, you have all these dreams, you be in these places. Without that love, support, and energy and connection, you would go mad, right?
Oh,
what am I doing? What's going on?
And these two people, they listen to all of it doesn't matter what time of day it is. It can be the middle of the night. I'm like, hey, get your cards out. or Courtney doesn't do cards, but I read her. and we talked about Holly too, that she is not readable for a lot of people because she's something of a starseed. Yeah, she's got a shield like it's protection. And we experimented one night, and I was reading her, and usually I can read her clear as day. Oh, it was like looking at 3-4 different people. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And she had deliberately sent chaos just to see if she could cloak her vibe. You know what I mean? Because you'd said she needed protection. That was that night that we started playing around. And she's like, I'm sorry I sent you chaos, but I had to see if it would make any sense. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, yes, we're connected. This is working. Send me more. And I have never ever had a problem reading her though, but I think it's because we're both like not from this place. I feel like we're from another place. There is my head again getting all big, but that doesn't mean I'm any better or anything else than anybody else. It just means I think she's on my same wavelength.
Yeah, she's on your team.
Oh God, you're fine, Ninja. If you'd have told me what you were doing, it wouldn't have worked. She's clear as day to me, so I can, looking at 3-4 different people, it was like, whoa. That's a power in and of itself, I believe. It's like a cloaking device. Like, so she's like a Romulan. Klingon bird of prey. Oh, start.
Bird of prey. No, we're talking about bird of prey now.
Well, we were talking about the Thunderbirds earlier.
Same thing.
Very true. Very true. Let's see. You do get out of what things that you put in. That's very, very true. Lisa, it was a very cool protection trick. It was very cool. And it ended up being very useful since that collector energy is out there all hungry and she needs to protect her. She's like a friggin' lighthouse. Alexandria has nothing on her. I shipped in for miles. The people on the left who succumbed. Oh, I think that's
ideas.
The power of positive thinking is a really big deal, actually, I believe, Pammy. Or at least not getting down in the trenches of terrible thoughts, because that is where those lower energies reside, and they are parasites, and
Mm-hmm.
they love your sadness. They love your pain. They love it. That is their only joy. That's the only thing they like. They want you. If you have light, they want to drain it. If you have sad, they want to eat it. If you are depressed, they'll take that too, because it's energy and it just makes them bigger, makes them
Yeah.
stronger. They will take whatever you offer. It's,
Yeah.
like shadow narcissists. It's kind of like any attention is good attention.
People too. People
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I have narcissist radar these days. I'm pretty good. Pretty good. They're sneaky. They're sneaky people. You usually don't see them coming.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a thing you learn.
And Holly says she pulls the parasite card when she looked at the collector, and we have a few of the same decks, and I did too. We ended up having the same readings, or we flipped the same cards on him, and then you picked up the same exact thing, that we did.
Corner dwellers.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, Pammy? What do you mean by corner dwellers?
Like, do you mean like shadow people? Lurkers. They just lurk in the lower vibe. So if you are having a bad day and you are standing there doing dishes and you are replaying every single bad thing that happened that day, every bad thought you had, every feeling, every emotion. Now I know this because I've done it. That is when they latch on and they draw and they pull. That it's just a thing. And then that by itself will snowball and you become a giant buffet. Like that's just how I see the negative self-talk, because there's just these little feeders down here who are ready to absorb all of your pain, and they feast on it. And it's not like they're taking it to make you feel better. They are taking it so that your emptiness can grow, that it just gets bigger and bigger, and it feeds itself. It feeds on you, and then it gives it back, and then you feed it, and it's just the most parasitic, horrible, symbiotic environment you can possibly be in.
Right. And
There's
everything goes downhill when you're in that zone.
Absolutely. I think that's where a lot of people, they end up really hurting themselves, or medicating themselves, or whatever, just sort of, I don't know, whatever gets mood. But then when you're in, get yourself, all drunk and have 4 margaritas, what are you doing? You're thinking worse. You're having a worse time. You're dwelling on those bad thoughts. Me anyway. I can't speak for anybody else. I just, I know where it goes for me. So I don't do it. I try not to do it. I'm a human, and I have been up and down the negative road too much. So I try to stick it to the positive side, just to avoid drawing in any extra negativity. I don't need it. Oh, Ronald, happy birthday. I forgot today's your birthday.
Whose birthday?
Ronald.
Oh, Ronald. That's right. I did get a Facebook post about it. But happy birthday, Ronald.
Happy birthday, Ronald.
A little related. Like, for example, when I was going through my divorce and there was money struggles on the farm and I was all sad and, think about all the negative things. I wasn't sleeping much. And then other things started mounting on the farm. Things are breaking. Things are happening, It's all I needed is this to happen,
One more thing.
It just mounts up and builds. It draws off your energy. And bad things happen when you're in that bad zone.
No, so. And you have to really drag yourself out of it, because or make sure you make the conscious effort to not get into those dumps.
Yes.
For me, I ended up with a very bratty guide who chases me and pulls my hair. And she yells at me. And there was one time I've already told you this. I had a very big fear of, death my whole childhood, my whole life. And now it is what it is. It's just another journey.
Yeah, I did too.
I was always worried about sickness and stuff. And You know, it wasn't too long ago that I was in a dream and I just woke up in my dream to this woman, the one who's, you know, my bratty guide, beating her hands on the table, screaming at me, "You have a healthy body. Now work on the rest." Be nice to me. Like, okay, I got it. I got it. I'm healthy. I'm not going to keep worrying. I got it. We're not going to sit and stress out about our body all day, you know, and, you know, be thankful for my health. And now I'm working on the other stuff. Melly says, maybe that's why you're not supposed to cut your hair. More to grab hold of. Oh, God.
Come on. We're going away. Let's go.
Yeah, she that guy, she yanked my whole head around one time. It's all for the good. I mean, she means well. She looks like, and if anybody has kids around here, Angelica from Rugrats, she looks like Angelica's doll. she looks like she has been through a washing machine. But, you know, I think she's just Lori Sue. Yeah, she just doesn't screw around. She doesn't have any time for that nonsense. She's like, work on your inner shit. Stop worrying about your this, that, and the other. That's all temporary. You need to work on what's going on inside. Pay attention. Because it's a lot. You get, you know, the dumps will get you. And I know where that goes. For me, it goes back to the maze. In my head, for me, it goes straight back to that muddy, horrible pit that on the inside just looks like unending. You're never going to get out, and you're riding a yellow bike trying to find your dad. Just gaping holes and loss everywhere, and people wandering and shuffling. And I only met that really, the one that stands out. I think I only met that one, and everyone is so spaced and incubated in their own agony and their own loss and their own pain that they just don't really notice others. You know, you're all just in there being depressed and sad together, and it eats.
Yeah.
It eats. So.
Yep. Feel that too.
Yeah. Oh, Pammy, that's awful.
I'm coming out of a spiritual abuse from church. Oh, Pammy. Send love and light to Pammy. Feel it. Let go of that abuse. It's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Especially spiritual abuse. I mean, well, any abuse is horrible. I'm just going to lay that down. Making your question your spirit, it's just damaging in every possible.
Any kind of abuse is horrible and worth it. I had a reading with someone that never let go of her father's abuse from 50 years ago.
Wow.
He never let it go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was coming in from the other side, and you don't have to forgive him, you know, but you need to accept it and move on.
Yeah, you gotta get over that.
That horror will never go away, but you need to release it. Just
right.
Fine. You give forgiveness now, but it's a little too late. But
yeah,
you can't let it anger you. It's just you can't control it.
No, you can't. I had to let go of my mother. I haven't talked to her in 6 years. I think it's been 6 years. Every time it was abusive. Every time you spoke to her, there was something, and it was just since I was a child, whether it was physical or mental, emotional. When you're just not the right kid for that person, it ends up being a horror show.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to let it go. I would never did that with my kids, and I learned. And so I understand now that I learned how not to be by watching this person. And I don't know, I feel like I was better off for having, this is going to sound just backwards, but I was better off for having a bad parent as an example to not do this, not do that, because my dad was a free range man. Check in twice a day, have fun. You know, when the lights came on, you check in in the daytime. That was it. Love you. Be careful. Don't hurt anybody. Don't hurt yourself. And you know, it was very different on the other side. So like without these huge contrasts, I don't I wouldn't have known a middle ground. I just don't know how else I would have, because I decided to settle, we are not going to act that way and I'm not going to act that way. Love my dad to death. But I didn't just send my kids outside and say, see you later. 80s parents, it was great. For me, I had a blast when I was with my dad, but it wasn't what I did. And
Right.
Courtney knows she's got one of those herself. Not to talk out of turn, my love. Lisa, it's okay. It's all right, because it's just okay. Some people, you have to just realize, I have come to terms with, they are not capable of what you need from them, be it a parent or whatever. Some people aren't built to be parents emotionally. They just aren't.
Right.
And sadly, they can still have children.
Well, there's a big difference between procreating
and parenting. Very, very, very different. Some people should have licenses. I mean, I know when I had kids, I wasn't ready, but I did it. I was like, okay, here's this girl and I love her and I'm going to take care of her. And that was it. That was all that I cared about. It was the only thing. So I'm glad for what I went through with her. You're right, Courtney. They are not our tribe. We went out and found our tribe. We found our tribe. Doesn't mean I love her any less. I mean, a kid always loves their mother. I just understand what she's capable of and what she is not. And it is easier for her and I not to have contact than for her to pretend she has feelings that she doesn't, if that makes sense. Interaction is hard for her.
That's what I kind of feel. It's like, even though some people are just unbearable, and they could be your cousin, your parent, or whatever. So let's say a parent, and that's what I was sensing. It's just like, thank them for giving you life, but that's all you need to do.
Yeah, and release. Just accept that person is just. This is the situation, this is what happened, and it sucks, and it is bad, and it is sad, and it is destructive, but holding on to it forever and not it's going to be a wound and it's going to end up a scar on your soul. You will carry it forever. But you can move ahead and move on to better and what is meant for you, and not be rooted in that pain. Otherwise, you
take that little piece that's hurting you and that chunk in your heart and just throw it away.
Yeah. And I do believe you have to, you have to feel your pain. You have to feel it. If you don't feel it, you will never heal from it. If you ignore it, I'm a big fat ignorer of pain. So, I learned that I had to, like when my dad died, I was hiding from how bad it hurt. I was absolutely hiding. I hid from everything I remember something, I had stopped because I'd started drinking a lot of vodka, and it was, and one morning I started pouring it in my coffee. I'm like, oh, we need to stop. We need to stop that, because we're hiding now, and that's not good. You've got these kids and you can't be drunk all day just because you're hurting. And so that was the day that stopped. I realized what I was doing. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't good. It was very destructive. And I feel like, Courtney knows vodka. It was our vodka. I'm a fan. I have no problem with alcohol whatsoever at this point. But I know that if I had gone down that road and kept trying to find a remedy inside of a bottle, I would have ended up completely screwed. And kids would have suffered. My marriage would have suffered. I would have suffered. Not worth it. And so I just remember that. I remember that it's pain. Pain will get you. It'll get you. It'll destroy you if you stay there. Now, and that is in no way saying get over it, because I know you don't just get over it. You never just get over things. You just feel it, then take it and toss it, and don't pack it with you. Let it go, and realize that people are only capable of what they're capable of. They're not capable of more. They're not capable of less.
Well, I hope everyone's figured that one out by now. That our souls don't grow without pain.
Oh, God.
If we went through our whole lives never feeling regret, never feeling sadness, we'd never grow.
Right. And they're,
We'd be Donald Trump.
Can you even imagine being that shallow? Like, I can't do it. I can't. I've read on him before, but the energy is just so putrid. It's just, sharp and pokey and putrid. It's like the ultimate narcissist right there.
So if we're always happy campers, we have nothing to learn then.
Oh, Jesus, isn't that right? And I don't, all my stuff has always usually been in my head. I've had a pretty decent life, so everything I do is just, it's all contained in this unit here, my very large bund unit. Pretty soon it'll be stacked up to there. Yes, Courtney, Nero. I write him as Nero, but I know you see him as Caligula. I have to need a fire. I needed a fire for my story, so I put him as Nero, burning Rome, and but I also very much felt he was more Caligula, but for my story, I had to put him as Nero. So funny, it's so true. Just evil running amok. Lori Sue. I'm just reading the comments here.
Mm-hmm. Ditto.
Yeah, Neptune says absolutely true. He's an infant man. Something got stunted there when he was a child. I mean, I feel like he was in an abusive home. And
it ran in the family.
Yeah. And so
from father to father.
Yep. And whatever happened there, whatever potential he had to be for a good person was squashed. He leaned all the way left. He went in and is swimming in the shadows. He enjoys it there. He's one of those people. Ha, Ronald, thank you.
Great bun.
You
let that hair grow a little more. You're gonna need an Anunnaki.
I'm gonna
cap.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Start having cones. It's Princess Leia buns. That'd be something.
In a sense, some reason I just thought of Don Jr. Going through all this mess.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can actually straighten himself out for his next 30 years or whatever.
I would hope so. There was one point I read I'm going to hook up my charger here. I saw a story on him that his father and him had gone he was scheduled to go to a baseball game with Donald Sr.,
Right.
And he answered his dorm, I'm crooked now, but I'm charging. He answered his dorm room door, and Donald Trump, his father was there. He bitch slapped him in the face and then told him to put on a suit. He's not going to be seen with someone in a jersey. And he did it in front of his entire college dorm. And so Don Jr. had to go put on a suit, and he just got bitch slapped by his dad in front of all of his friends. And it's abusive. It's just flat friggin' abusive. And he didn't even, from what I understand, he didn't speak to his father for several years after his parents' divorce and went and did some other things. So it's like he had the potential to go and do his own life, but got sucked right back in, and he is just now just spouting that crap all over the world with that Guilfoyle Kimberly woman. She's a gargoyle. And I don't mean her face, I mean her vibe. She's just
well, it's all the way around.
I mean, I remember years and years ago, I thought, wow, she's really a pretty lady. But every time that mouth opens, ooh, no, we don't need that in the world. But there it is on blast everywhere you go. So
he's at that point where he can take the consequences, accept the deal, change his life,
yeah,
or he can become a complete mess.
yes, go
Yeah.
right down the road of his dad.
Yeah.
And anybody who, I've got allergies, everybody, pardon me. You know, his dad will throw him under the bus. Every one of his kids, he doesn't love them. That's not love. What's going on there? That's with his daughter. That's a whole other animal that I have never looked into. Not a fan of that kind of thought. You know, and I'm sure that she uses the power that she has over him to control the money and stuff like that. And it's a sick situation. The entire thing is just so sick and twisted. It's my hope that every soul gets on the right road. I mean, like I don't know how to put it. I'm not going to just, I don't know, not going to put any energy really into throwing light in that direction because I feel like it's going down a black hole.
Right.
You know, something's a little too far gone and I'm just going to step and not get in there.
Totally get it.
That's how I feel about Don Jr. Yeah, and you don't read the dark stuff. You don't read the dark stuff. I mean, you try to stay out of it because you don't like that's you know, it's dark juju. And so I was
some of the dark juju I do not see, but I have tackled dark stuff.
Andrea's here. Hi, Andrea.
Hey, Andrea. Nice reading for us the other night. We all loved it.
Oof,
It was perfect.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, you betcha.
Love her. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have her do me a reading one day. Even though you guys have all read me just in the videos, and I'm so thankful. I've learned so much. You don't want to go. Pammy says, don't want to go there with him and his daughter, but people cannot bring themselves to speak it. And that is probably the best thing. Just don't go there. Yep. I just don't go there.
It doesn't need to be talked about, but you just have that feeling.
You know. I swear to God, if my father ever talked about me that way, no. General man in general, just no, have some friggin' respect, dude. No.
Yeah. Yep.
But to have it be your dad and you have to sit there, you know, in front of millions of people and laugh while he talks about your body. No. That's disgusting.
Yes, that's true. Debbie's back.
Is she? Hi, Debbie.
Yep, Debbie came back.
Hi, Debbie. Two of my other favorite ladies. Neptunes, yes, absolutely.
Recently.
Old nasty fruit collapsing on itself. Andrea, we just talked about the maze. Ugh. Oh, oof. It's a place I was stuck for years. Interdimensional sort of thing, I believe. Don't think the aliens are there.
Nope, it was mostly about the dark areas today, Andrea.
Yeah.
Where it led, there's a different side to Miss Beth, and we all know.
I'm not just going to space, guys.
No, there's more than space. She's hanging out in that fourth dimension maze.
I'm just appreciating. It was bad. It was bad. I'm not gonna lie. Andrea, I wish I could have talked to you too. It's a murky place. But I mean I don't live there anymore. I got out. It was more like more about my removal from that dark place than anything else, I think. And explaining that place to others. I'm kind of trying to just see if anybody else except for the people that I already know have experienced it, if they know or have seen it. Oh, Pammy, you're sweet. Andrea, very well, could be. You're just a little phenomenal Wonder Woman. Seriously. With your scarves and your hair and your beautiful eyes. I did, yes, I did get out. I was I was extracted. It's back there in the video. Which way am I going? It's in the video, but it was an extraction.
Nope, didn't see that book, B.
I didn't see that book. Welcome back, Marie. Oh, Melly, that's okay. It's dark and icky, swampy.
Like I said, Melissa, when Beth started talking about it, I seen the movies The Conjuring. So it's basically what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Going in that dark place and there's souls in there.
Yeah, they're trapped. They're just, you know, you go in
You
there
can't
and
see it.
I haven't yet, Andrea. I'm saving the old pennies to get that done. I will soon. It's kind of number one on my list with like my Amazon cart full of tarot cards. I'll get Bob my Bob reading first though. I have so many questions for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Lucy.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that past life regression. I think I've said it before, but I tried to get an appointment with Alba Weinman. You know who she is?
I don't. Oh.
She was a student of
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Dolores Cannon.
Okay, I remember
So
Dolores.
she's an expert in doing that past life regression. Well,
Yeah.
her month fills up in seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
So the one time it wasn't full, I got in and then I couldn't log into my account for her.
Oh.
So then I had to get out of that screen, go back in, and then unlog back in, and then they were all gone. So I've been trying for 6 months. So, but like, you got to get the email right away, and jump in right away, and click yes, I want, and what day, you know.
Yeah. Now, is Bob pretty booked up when you try to make an appointment with him?
I had about a 10-day wait.
Okay, that's not bad.
Something like that, 2 weeks.
Gives you time to get your questions ready.
Well, I was ready to go the next day, but it was more about work and I could get
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Because I wanted a Wednesday, which is slower at work, and I took it off. So it depends what your schedule is and whatnot too, but
Debbie says we all have full Amazon cards. Yeah, 7 deck cards on there.
I'm an eBayer, so I don't have full Amazon cards.
Oh.
I don't touch Amazon.
I don't eBay because it's like, I just don't. Amazon, I don't Amazon often, but when I do, it's tarot cards and witchy stuff. It's where I go. That's what I do. Huh. Andrea's laughing with us about the cards. Yeah, you can't have too many decks. Melly says 40 is enough. I don't 40. Have 40. Hey, they all have different personalities, you know.
This is true, but I don't need anything.
I've got mine up here with me right now because I seem to take them from room to room with me. You never know when a question's going to pop out.
Technically, you need maybe 4 and a couple oracles. That's all you really need.
2 oracle decks and 3 regular decks. And one of them is kind of like a trashier tarot, kind of like that one. That one's fun.
Yeah.
It's good for getting to the root of people's motives. I noticed.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a dirty deck. It's fun though. I only break it out for like when I got to find out people's base motivations. And the guidebook doesn't, it doesn't translate at all to regular tarot. So I've had to I try not to, I don't use it very often because I'm not super familiar with it, but it's
trashy tarot.
Trashy. It's a trashy tarot deck. Kind of cheap, kind of trashy. It works.
I know. I have a couple oracle decks I don't even touch because you got to read. You basically need the whole book to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like you might get a little bit, but
yeah,
like, okay, you get this, but then I need to grab the book to get the sense of the meaning, Yeah.
I like to be
a lot of studying, to understand it completely. So I'm like, I got a couple just sitting there. It's like, okay.
Neptune's no, that is not the name of the deck. it's just a dirty naked people deck. I don't know what else. I forgot the name of it. This is the back right here, and just to give you an idea, like these people are smooching here, but it's a little more risque than that. But it just really shows it's like a root motivation to certain people's ways of motivate, the things that they do, the motivations that they do, sort of the instinctual, more base motivations that, more animal sort of motivations. And if I can't read a deck, then without the books, then I just get frustrated.
Holly says, I have a deck that hates me. That's funny.
Holly, we both have that dirty deck there. It helps us read. Dirty deck. It's not a dirty deck. It's just a deck. Because naked people. Oh, Lucian. I think I'll just stick to these guys' channels. I'll just stay here. I don't do anything interesting to have a channel. Like, not exciting. I am.
Hey, there's a lot of people that love videos of just feeding the dogs and letting them play. Like, oh, look at your palm out there playing today.
She's gonna bark at everything. I'm like, get that thing out of here. Poor little palm.
That's what TikTok is, isn't it?
Oh, I just got a TikTok. Videos. It's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I do not tick and I do not talk, but I watch there's witch talk. Scott, did you know that? You can go on witch talk. There's witches. Lucian, you're very sweet. Lisa, I could, but does anybody want to hear me just talk? Enough to have a channel? I don't know. I can talk. I can go on and on. Debbie, you are Debbie. You are. Yeah, I can go on and on about generally any damn thing. Pyramids
are a lot of amazing experiences that go beyond the average Joe.
And only a couple people in my actual life know about any of this. So I would be very surprised if anybody that I didn't know, like on a daily basis, knew anything about it. People think I'm a little odd. They know that, but that's okay. Be odd. I used to hide and I used to just, not try to let any of myself out there, but let that weirdo flag fly now. But look at what I've found. I've found all my people.
Found the people.
All of them are, and I've learned a lot. So
yeah, that's the greatest thing, is just learning and sharing and understanding.
And during lockdown, we're all stuck in our houses. I mean, it's not lockdown anymore really, but there's still a plague out there, and
yes, there is
people getting sick, and it's changing, and we got to keep ourselves. And Christina, I love you too. We got to keep ourselves safe. Lisa, I believe that attracting my people is something that has started to happen for sure. I do like to just do it here on Scott's channel. I had my own, I'd be all stressed out about content and stuff. Like I sweat for a solid 2 hours before we go on here. Just like, oh my God. Nobody wants to hear your nuts and bolts and everything else. But I got to, that's why when he asked, he's like, well, you want to go 12, 1, whatever? I was like, let's just do it. Do it. You know, you jump. If you're scared, you jump. And then like, that's what I do now. If I'm scared of it, I just, okay, let's go. Because that seems to be the way.
Jump
Holly,
the
yes,
pool.
yes, Holly, our tribe. I've been trying to drag her into these things forever. Like you would like this, but she didn't fool with any psychics or anything, like not fool with, but just didn't. Just no, just a little magical powerhouse all by herself. And then you came along and
You
explained.
picked me.
Aha! You picked me first.
That goes back a few reincarnates, I think.
Probably. Let's see. Yes, Melly, we are all awed by ordinary standards. You know, I think I live surrounded by pyramids. They're mountains, but I'm sure they're pyramids. These, you know, and I share it with everybody too. So, like, my odd is out there now. Tammy, absolutely.
Lots of pyramid, lots of ancient civilizations.
Yeah. Lisa says, Beth, do what works for you, but trust. Oh, you're very sweet.
Yeah, I think you've been to other planets too, often.
I think so. Yeah. I think that Earth is one of my more recent incarnations, you know, and I've had a few of them at least. But I don't know. I know that I know nothing. That's what I can say for sure. Marie has a crock pot full of soup going. Oh, I was supposed to put roast in the crock pot today. I completely forgot. I'm a little late. That's all right.
Oh, you had to? You were supposed to?
I took out a roast. I was going to put it in a crock pot.
Um,
We'll have it tomorrow. We will have spaghetti tonight. That sounds fantastic. They will have spaghetti. I'll have
compromise.
tofu. I'll have tofu.
I'll be like, I told you can go online, but I need that roast.
As long as they're all fed and watered, they're fine. They, you know, they're adults. They can't be. They're fed and watered. They're fine. Holly, I don't know if you see this, Scott. She says, I told Beth your energy intimidated. Oh, I don't intimidate you, Ninja. She said she did tell me that. She told me that your energy scared and intimidated her, and I told her, trust.
Weird.
I told because, well, I did tell you that psychics. She was afraid of psychics because of their lack of ability to read her, and so she very much. Let me know if I'm oversharing, Holly. Here I go. They saw, you know, they didn't see anything. You know, they didn't see a future. They didn't see a past. They didn't see a present. And that's very scary to hear when you're a human being. And so she's just a different being. They didn't see her because they couldn't read her energy. And that was what you were able to clear up. And that was when we did our little experiment. And she sent parts, and it was wonderful.
Sounded fun though, actually.
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. It was fun. She was apologizing. I'm like, no, do it again.
Do it again.
Do it again. Send me something. It's so.
Screen activate.
Yes. Shields on.
Shields on. Yeah.
Shields up.
Scotty.
Yeah.
Give me what you got.
Yes. NCC 1701 is, I believe, the Enterprise's call numbers. I know that. Yes. Somebody's a tracker over here. I'm a little bit obsessed. I went and saw all the movies in the theater by myself because my kids were littler or younger. And so I was like, you keep them. I remember when the first new Star Trek came out, I went, my husband, he'd gotten me a movie ticket for my birthday. I'm like, yes. And I got to go alone. I it there. And I'm just like, yes, Star Trek. I've always been attracted to space, you could say.
Well, I have too for some reason. I loved every.
I'm not.
I loved every sci-fi thing.
Neptune, thank
Star
you for.
Wars, all that.
Yeah. Yeah, we watched Star Wars, Star Trek. My dad and I, we would just sit there. You know, it was.
Land of the Lost. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Sleep
There was
Land?
one. Any show or series that involved space or obscure history that nobody really knows anything about, hypothetical history, I guess you could say, you know, pyramids and Bigfoots and stuff like that. That's what I was really completely brought on, you know, up on. My first book was a mythology book, Bullfinch's Mythology. And my dad gave it to me because I kept on reading the school books that they gave us backwards. Like I'd read them from the back to the front. And reading only really got complicated for me when they started showing me the letters in school. Like it's like, well, I already know what it means, but you're making me deal with this other stuff. And I didn't, you know, it just didn't mesh. And so one day you put a mythology book in my hand, and it was Bullfinch's Mythology, and it was this high school book. You just put it in my hands and I started reading it. And that was it. I was stuck on the gods and goddesses, and I didn't need Briar Rabbit or little golden books after that. Bye, Gian. I'm brought up on the strange and unusual.
Make it to the chat. Personal break. Oh, personal. Oh. Andrea's a busy one.
Oh, she is. Look at that. Of course she's busy. You guys are always busy. You're doing the work of the universe out there.
Do our best.
Oh, it's very true.
You're taking care of 3 universes.
No, I'm just being dragged through them.
Good point.
I'm just like a latchkey kid over here. Like when Virgil says he sees the maze, but he flies past it. Well, 3rd grader over here just decides to go in and play in the burning building.
Go play in the sand a little bit.
Yeah, let's just go get stuck for 10 years. Let's go get stuck in purgatory for 10 years, Beth. That sounds fun.
Oh, funny.
Courtney, yes. Oh, we're raising that Sidness up on that good stuff. I already know it. Andrea, yeah, you know, I've learned a lot from what you've had to say, Andrea, for sure. If you listen to what we were talking about, Andrea, like if you even get a minute, because I know you're so busy being a lighthouse out there in the world and helping people and souls. I talk about the fractures, and I believe I'm seeing dimensions. That's what I think I'm seeing over this place that I used to get stuck. And I think it's different planets, different times, different dimensions. And there's a story I tell about my Holly friend, and we had a dream and overlooking this place. It's not just, oh God, it's not just us. It's not just like humans. It's not just now humans. I think there are other beings trapped in this place. Which makes no sense to me, but they're there.
No, I know. It's getting to be a long one.
It is. Oh my God, we're on 3 hours.
You don't have to watch 3 hours, Andrea.
Oh, good grief. I think we got into the meat and taters pretty early.
Yeah, just fast forward.
Yeah. Yeah, and anything you have to say about that, I would so welcome and appreciate for sure.
And it'd be something else to get into.
Yeah, she doesn't want to go to that dark side, but maybe has a little bit of an insight there. 3 hours. Seriously, time flies. That is no lie.
I know. We're talking, oh, one more thing. We'll cut it off at 2.
Just one more thing. Oh. Well, and we need one of those cane things. Yank, send me off. Because I will talk and not stop. I realize I do that. Just doesn't.
That's cool.
It doesn't quit. Usually I'm like, I don't think I have enough to say on here. Nobody, I don't know. I don't have anything. Here we are, 3 hours and 4 minutes and 20 seconds later.
It really isn't hard.
No, it's not. And I'm thankful I'm so thankful for all the feedback. See here. Aspie, that's a very true thing. They say the darkness only exists where you turn your light out, or you lose it. You lose it in your own darkness. That light's always there. You gotta be your own light. Sometimes you gotta be your own spotlight, for sure. Lori. Oh, thank you, Andrea. I appreciate you reading and listening and all the things that you do out there. I'll be in a chat and I'm watching and I miss, I don't ask a question, but I get an answer from somebody else's question. That happens all the time.
It's always a bonus.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, loves. Well, we better get going. It's dinner time for me.
Oh, you gotta feed that belly.
Yes. Got to figure out what we're going to do. And I said I was going to buy it tonight.
Oh, Mexican.
Instead of having someone make it, I said, my treat.
Nice.
Get carry-out pizza, Chinese, whatever you want. Let me know. But now it's getting late, so we got to figure that out.
That sounds better than the spaghetti I'm going to make. Maybe I'll try
Domino's.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We have nothing around here that delivers, but I'm within 10 seconds of everything in town. So try to talk the husband into some Mexican food tonight. We do have a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, good.
Yes. Thank you, Christina. And thank you, Andrea. And everybody, thank you so much for spending time listening to me and Scott. And Holly and Courtney, my loves.
Yeah.
Endless, forever soulmate thank yous. Always, always, always. Through all the lives. Through all of them. Every single one.
All the lives. Many lives.
The good ones, the bad ones, all of them. All the battlefields. Lori Sue, thank you. And I did mention to the sky, Lori, just so you know. So wear pants to bed.
What was that?
Lori Sue has let me know to tell our friends to swing by and pick her up.
Oh, so, she wants to get picked up too?
She does. And so love you too, Lucienne.
If you really want that, we can put it out there.
Yeah. And I kind of did. So
yes, you did.
So you just make sure you're make sure you're prepared for it's that whole careful what you wish for. I am with elastic just in case she says yes. The best pants have elastic. Courtney, yep, burning stakes and battlefields. We have had some lives.
Excellent.
You meet your soulmates. So
yeah, eventually you meet them all.
Yeah, thankful for everything too. So
nice meeting you, Holly and Courtney. Thanks for letting me in your energy, Holly. Nope. Shields on.
Yeah, I thank the universe for those two every single day.
Excellent.
Yeah, she's this.
Make sure you're not sleeping naked.
That's kind of a thing. Like you don't want to wake up all bare-assed on a ship. So,
Oh my Lord.
how embarrassing. I
Wear
guess
clean underwear.
just wear something. Okay. Yeah, Holly. Absolutely. All right. Well, I guess you better go feed Nancy and everybody.
Yeah. Feed myself, feed the family.
Feed yourself and hi to the missus. And
Sounds good. Aliens don't care. They should.
you know, I see them with clothes on. So I feel like if they are dressed, I need pants on. It may be futuristic clothes, but if they are dressed, I don't want to be undressed.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, just appropriate. Courtney, sweetheart. So, okay.
Yep. We're gonna go. Everyone have a great night.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Love to you, Scott, Andrea, Freebird, Debbie, everybody.